Right, so everyone, bonjour.
Hey,
Bonjour.
how are we?
Bonjour.
Yes, I'm good. Is everyone okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
all good.
Andy's
All good here.
connected to audio, so hopefully you can bonjour everyone and high five.
Not yet.
No,
He's multitasking.
in the absence of anything coming out that we haven't spoken about before, and without like flogging that old horse dead, I think there's only two of us that have seen Citadel. Liz, you recommended it to me during the week.
Yes.
Do you want to kick it off? Should we just kick it off with a little bit of Citadel just to give people a little teaser of it?
Yeah, I think so. I saw the trailer. It was beginning of the week, actually. I saw the trailer. I had seen no advertising for this beforehand.
No, I hadn't.
And then it just came up beginning of the week. And straight away, it just looked like a popcorn movie. Straight away, you had the Russos as the exec producers. So instantly I was intrigued.
Yeah.
But it just seemed like almost like a Terminal List, Reacher sort of vibe to it, with some futuristic tech. Yeah, it just really intrigued me. So yeah, sat down. The first 2 episodes dropped this morning. Got to say, the pace of it, with moaning about everything else going really, really slow. If anything, this goes really, really fast. This is the pace. It rollicks along. There's no time to breathe in this.
Yeah,
it just rollicks along. It's awesome. So basic premise is you've got the 2 main characters, Richard Madden and I can't even pronounce her name. But
this is Bollywood, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shakiri.
But Chopra, I know her surname's Chopra. So
Chopra Jonas.
Actually, should have researched that because I've got a lot of
Madden and Chopra. So they're your 2 main spies, and they're working for an organization called Citadel, which is essentially a spy organization that's not allegiant to any sort of country or agenda. It's only for doing good, essentially. But when they're compromised or presumed dead, their minds are wiped. So at the very beginning, their minds get wiped. But with the sort of futuristic tech, if they can find you and if you re-emerge somewhere and they know that you're safe, they can reinstill your memories. So the beginning, their minds get wiped, and then a rogue organization are after different things. They get brought back into it, and they've got to try and get their memories back and try and solve the case. That's essentially what the gist of the show is, without giving away too much spoilers. Good action, good dialogue. Stanley Tucci is a great actor, I've got to say.
You got to love Stanley Tucci.
He's got some great lines of dialogue in this. His character's quite funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, overall, thoroughly enjoyed it. Sit back. The story romped along. It wasn't, but it was easy to follow. It was sit back with your popcorn at home, basically. I thoroughly enjoyed it, to be fair. It's a bit refreshing. Nice palate cleanser to all the other shits we've been getting.
I mean, it was like a run. Well, just a rehash, a lot of modernisation of just the average spy thriller, I suppose. But
yeah,
it wasn't average. I think it is well worth watching. Madden's good in it.
Yeah, he is
as well. He's acting.
Well, Madden's done good performances before.
I'm not saying he was a bad actor before, but you know, when someone, I just see him as that Game of Thrones character now,
Rob Stark.
Yeah,
I must admit,
he did.
Did any of you watch The Bodyguard?
Yeah, see,
that was so good.
He was good in that, but it takes you a while to just.
So I must admit, it because of him and the opening on the train. Instantly, I was thinking, Bodyguard, because that opened on the train as well.
Did it?
I think I was thinking the same thing in the trailer too.
Yeah, opened on the train. The opening with the suicide bomber in the toilet.
But if you like that, I do recommend Rabbit Hole. And it's
really,
it's got the added benefit of Kiefer Sutherland. It is like the return. It's almost like it was written. It was like the season of 24 that they did, and they've adapted it. It looks, because he's older and white, but still the bloke who's trying to be one step ahead of everyone else. I'm really enjoying Rabbit Hole. And Liz, if you enjoyed Citadel,
yeah,
You will.
Isn't it weird how all the action stuff's just coming to the forefront now?
Yeah, we've done.
John
And
Wick,
it's
Maverick,
played, and it is played.
Terminal List.
Right, there's FBI, the FBI woman in it. Yes, she does mention in the first episode she's married to a woman. Hey, tick the box, then fuck off, and they get on with the story. Yes, I love
What
it.
recurring theme?
No, do it. Do it. That's
Tayters,
it.
did you enjoy watching Citadel?
I had it on, but unfortunately, as you I'm bloody busy during the day. It's little ones running around, and my attention is very all over the place. And like you said, it was so quick paced. I would be gone out of the room for 30 seconds, come back, it's like I don't know where I am.
There was more story. There was more story in the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Of that than the last 2 seasons of Mandalorian.
Yeah, we're not comparing eggs with eggs here, are we?
I thought we were going to have a Star Wars free.
Oh, it is.
There we go.
That's the only mention.
Yeah.
Honourable mention. No story.
Yeah, honourable mention.
Yeah,
there was a lot of story. There was a lot of good story in there, and I'm intrigued to see where it goes. And it's only 6 episodes as well, which I'm quite happy.
Well, again, it's Russo's, isn't it? Russo's, they don't mess about. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
It does kind of put me at ease a bit when you see certain names. And I know I think we spoke about this before, about the fact that the Russo brothers were on their toes after Endgame.
But you look at some of the stuff they've done since. They've done the 21 Bridges, didn't they? They've done Extraction. They're doing Extraction 2.
Yeah.
And now they've got this show as well. They're doing some good stuff, man.
Yeah.
And
I think the fact that there's 2 of them helps. Because as we've said before, you always need someone to rein you in, someone to check you, someone to...
A shit detector.
Basically, yeah. If it's your brother, I'm sure he's quite open to say, hang on, you prick. Let's calm back.
And they're kind of, it seems like they're intelligent and humble enough to step back and be the exec producers.
Yeah.
And steer. Because you can see the Russo brothers affecting the, there's like fight scenes. So I suppose it's, getting stunt coordinators in and getting script everything, all the coordination of it.
And I must say, the fight scenes were awesome in it. The fight scenes were awesome. The way the opening scene when they're on the train, how they work in tandem with each other, and they both play to their strengths. So Madden being the man, he's more brutal, whereas she uses more skill. It just worked so well.
She still holds her own.
Yeah, massively.
Tight red dress.
Yeah.
With it all.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a good believable dynamic too. If you've got one guy is the brute force and the other is she can do stuff, but it's technically difficult, not physically difficult. I like that.
Yeah. And there is a scene right at the beginning where she's basically said to old Madden, like, I'll do this bit, you deal with the henchman. So he's in the toilet having the fight and the guns are out. It's all the classic stuff. And it's the toilet of the train and their heads are bashing on the bowl and all that. And then it cuts to the car where she's talking to the bloke going, I see kind of thing. She's having her little chat. And it was nice how they did it. And you kind of can't quite hear the train when she's having the chat with the bloke. But when you go to the toilet, it's like, it's all kicking off.
And there was some nice humour moments in there as well.
Yeah.
There was that nice sprinkling of humour in there just to lighten the mood on some bits. But I think the most impressive thing for me was the dynamic between the 2 leads. They had some really good back and forth in the beginning when we saw them together. Really good.
You still talk about that red dress?
Yeah.
The dynamic in the back and forth.
But no, definitely one to watch. It's a good strong start, and I'm intrigued to see where it goes. Hopefully it stays at that level, if not crack on a bit more and bring it up a level. But yeah, very good strong start, and definitely recommend it.
Well, Randy's got a really panicked look on his face.
He just sent in the chat that he's having trouble figuring it out.
Well, we'll carry on. Well, we're not talking about anything you've seen at the moment, Randy. So, did you see the Guardians 3 trailer? Oh, it's tough shit then if you can't talk about it. Oh, Amber was almost feeling sorry for him then. Right. So, Citadel is out now, folks, and kind of not really genre. Not really. What would you say, Liz? It's just, I think it's good, but kind
I
of.
think there's an element of there's an element of sci-fi in there, but
Do you
it's
think?
only very loosely sprinkled in. I mean, in
Yeah,
terms of in terms of the tech, is the tech's slightly more advanced. Other than that, no, it's just set slightly in the future, so we get these cool gadgets and these cool tech. But yeah, other than that, no, I wouldn't really say it is genre. And I kind of like, I think that's another thing that I liked as well, because again, a palate cleanser. I think that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
It's just nice to have something different.
So, who can't wait to see the origin of Rocket Raccoon? You know,
It's yeah.
You know what though? A lot of people really love origin stories if they haven't seen them played out. And even if they have, like, how many times is it going to be interesting watching Spider-Man discover that he's Spider-Man? I mean, it's kind of
not. It is no.
Yeah.
I never want to see, but that's my age. But I think a lot of people never want to see a Spider-Man origin again. I think even 3-year-olds know his origin.
But that's what they did well with the Tom Holland. When Tom Holland come in, there was no. It was.
There was no origin.
There was no origin.
Yeah, great power comes. Yeah.
But it is a way to get your new audience attached to a character because you're experiencing discovery with them.
Yeah.
I think with this trailer, Guardians in general, I like the previous two. The first one more than the second one, but with this trailer, it seems better than the other Marvel trailers we've had recently. And this year we've got this and we've got Secret Invasion. They're Marvel's only two hopes of doing something reasonably good. I hope that Guardians is good. I really do.
Think it's going to be a hit? You hope it's going to be, Liz?
I hope it's going to be.
It's going to be a hit on the basis of the trailers, because there's been 3 trailers, hasn't there? And I thought the first one. I look back at all 3 trailers. I thought the first one, where Drax had the ball, they landed on the planet, and Drax had the ball. There's this little alien girl with the ball bounces, and he goes whack, and you hear the noise of the ball on her head, and then they're throwing rocks at them, and then Now I think that's pure Guardians of the Galaxy, and that's what it always was. But I think that's why I enjoyed the first film, where it was that refresher. We've always said it's that.
Yeah,
it was that.
It was different. Totally different.
That was the sorbet between courses of all the serious, heavy stuff that was going on in Marvel at the time.
Yeah,
but this third,
I hope it's good, man.
Yeah, but no. So I'm asking, what do we think? Like, where are we? If we was betting people,
we look at the recent track record.
We're all, I in a way, I hope. Well, I don't know if I hope. I want it to be a good film because I'm going to pay money to go and see it.
That's the thing, isn't it? We're all skeptical now. We've all been burned too many times.
I'm going to say it's going to be a hit.
I think the only thing that's going to pull it up is it's James Gunn's last movie in the MCU, isn't it? And then he's out, so he's probably going out all bells and whistles.
Yeah, but this would have been before he got or around the same time as he was having a little chat with DC, like, all right, let's.
Well, no, this is obviously he got the boot, didn't he? No, he got the sack. He got the sack, didn't he? He got let go.
Yeah,
because of a tweet.
Oh, you're right. Yes, yeah.
10 years ago, whatever it was.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. And then he come back, but in that interim period of him being gone, he was then over with DC, and then come back to finish Guardians. And then beforehand, I thought to myself, okay, he's not going to care. It's going to be crap. From the trailers, I think he's probably put his work in.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's still got his name on it. I mean,
yeah, that's it exactly. Yeah,
no contract.
It depends how much, because we've heard all the stuff that's come out recently from the Disney camp and Marvel, and how the directors don't really direct.
Yeah,
and how everything has to be signed off by the up tops, and the directors are basically just managing on the day. It depends how much Marvel have actually interfered with his work, because the humor that James Gunn put into the first Marvel film, in the first Guardians, was the right level.
Yeah,
we've seen what's happened with the Marvel humor recently and what they've done with their films. If they've bastardized it in any sort of way, then no, it's not going to be good. But if it's James Gunn just doing James Gunn, doing what he's allowed to do, then it's got a half decent chance of doing all right.
Mm.
So yeah, fingers crossed.
What do you think, Amber? Or you got this? Are you just thinking,
I mean, as far as the Marvel and I will say even the DC universe, I'm fatigued. I want less. I want less production and just more simple, good quality. And for me, Guardians of the Galaxy, the one thing it does have going for it is that comedy. So I think Hog is right that I think it was you who said it, if they're not keeping up with the humor, which is the thing that really drew people to Guardians in the first place, it will be blown. This last trailer did come across as darker and more serious to me. So I'm expecting that it's going to have the humor in there, but they're going to take it darker in everything else with the story. Is this going to be the final one? I think it is.
Yeah.
I get the impression that this is the wrap up of the Guardians of the Galaxy. And it would be intelligent of them to do that, because you carry it on forever and you get Transformers 10, you know? So does anyone have any interest in the Transformers movies anymore? No, it's just carrying on forever. No. Come on. Are you serious? You got to be kidding me.
I am.
I'm in the wrong room.
I am. Especially on the back of that latest trailer.
To be fair.
Oh my gosh. My brother and I cracked up at so many points during that trailer. We're like, is this a movie for little kids? It was so
there's a girl in it now.
Oh my gosh.
Pirouettes. Yeah.
To be fair, I checked out after the third one. For me, the original trilogy was the Transformers movies for me, when they got rid of Shia LaBeouf and all that lot from the original trilogy, and all the little threads they had running through the original trilogy, even the simpleness of just having Linkin Park do the song for each movie. Like, that trilogy is my Transformers. Everything after that, it went too far. It's almost the Fast and Furious effect. They've gone from street racing to saving the world, and they had
a Michael Bay though, didn't they? Now, I know he's divisive. I know he's a polarizing director. But I've got to say, I love him because he can't make a small film.
No.
Yeah. He just can't do it. And he's perfectly suited. He was spot on. Whether or not, I mean, I know there was people at the time, I don't know if you remember this, Tayters, that people were saying, Optimus Prime don't look like he did in the toy. And you think, oh, come on. You know, what happened to... They was bringing out some random Transformer from the first toy range from the early 70s going, he... I don't know if we can call a Transformer a he anymore, can we? But they weren't in it. You're thinking, oh, come on, guys. But for me, like this, particularly those first three films, I thought were just, you sat there and it's like, you...
So you keep saying first three films and it's sacrilege. It's absolute sacrilege that you keep saying first three films.
No, but the
first film was in 1986.
Oh, yeah.
That's the first film.
Yeah.
The Michael Bay film is film 2.
It's like saying, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and you saying, no.
There was a cartoon. No, I think Michael Bay does what he does very well. People can say, oh, he's a crappy director, his movies are crap. No, he does exactly what he is intended to do and does that very well.
Like
just
Tony
because
Scott.
it's,
Tony Scott was another one.
Okay.
Like,
give me
that you knew the style of film they was going to do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, go on, carry on.
Yeah. Oh no, I was just saying, like, so I feel like he set a precedent with Transformers, and I think having Shia LaBeouf, he was like the uniting force in this thing. As soon as you lose Shia LaBeouf and you've got Michael Bay is not involved anymore, it just became a series that they decided to release in theaters, and I don't think anybody cares anymore. It's like, how many of you have ever seen any of the Disney animated sequels? Like, I've seen one, and I was like, yeah, there's a reason I didn't bother to watch any of these.
Yeah.
It's just, it's stupid. I loved the first Transformers because I'd never seen anything like that. And even though I look at it now and I go, dang, all of these movies look just like this. It's just a bombardment of mechanical transformations right in your face, and it takes up the whole screen. But when I saw it the first time, I was like, this is brilliant. I love it. I remember when that one bad Transformer was threatening Shia LaBeouf and like saying, "Are you, whatever, ladies man, blah blah blah." I was like, "This is so intense and hilarious."
Yeah.
So
it's the parents constantly embarrassing them as well. Just like
Yes.
that was funny. Yeah, that was funny. That the mother in that scenario was very funny. Yeah. Good comic relief.
It was almost it was almost Spielberg.
We had all the military guys as well, didn't we?
It was almost Spielbergy.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I just invented that word.
Spielbergy?
So when
Spielbergian, copyright.
Spielbergian.
I think you'll find if you go back and look at the credits, I'm pretty sure Spielberg had something to do with that 2007 release. The first Michael Bay Transformers. I'm sure he was involved with it somewhere.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. It's a boy and a big robot.
That's what I'm saying. Because there was rumors. Like I say, my Transformers in 1986, the animated Transformers the movie, the best Transformers movie there's been. Right, but anyway, a few years after that, there was an announcement out that Spielberg was interested in doing a live-action Transformers movie.
Oh, could you have imagined
building up? We were waiting for years and years and years, and then we got
Transformers in the 90s would have looked like the Power Rangers when they get into the bots at the end, isn't it? When it's just a bloke in the suit and a little miniature city around him.
But it was very good. But I'm sure Spielberg had something to do with the first Michael Bay film, 2007.
Oh, right, that would make sense.
But yeah, no, I enjoyed that trilogy. That first three movies. Everything after that started getting a little bit of a stretch. They started trying too hard. Then they tried the reboot with Bumblebee.
I enjoyed that.
That was an enjoyable movie, but it didn't quite hit the way it was meant to. So a lot of people didn't like it for that reason. But I enjoyed it. It was a good, entertaining film.
It's like the first
testing the mic.
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you. We just can't see you.
Oh, it's one thing or another with a bloke, isn't it?
Sorry, I didn't know if everyone would hear that. Sorry.
I'm going to put a really embarrassing picture up of you.
That's it.
Oh, I wish you would.
Yeah.
There we go.
Hey, bonjour, Randy.
Bonjour.
Randy's in the house.
So, come on, Randy, you've got to hit the ground running now.
Guardians, go.
Guardians of the or Transformers or both.
Guardians looks interesting. It has some good elements, but I don't really know the story. Do you know what I mean? For that,
what of Guardians?
Yeah,
from the trailer. That's
right.
What you mean?
I mean, so there's some elements. So we see Rocket, and like as a young creature, right? I mean, so it's meant to bring out the sympathy for him, right? And so I'm kind of intrigued by that.
They play that scene. I know I am.
And wasn't he laying next to a walrus as well in that scene?
Yeah.
Did anyone notice that?
And he says, "Into the forever and beautiful sky."
I thought you were going to start crying.
Young kid. No, that's when I'm going to start laughing. Spill out my stomach. What kid talks like that? Into the forever and beautiful sky, and he says it again. And he's laying down, and he says it again in another trailer. But late, he says forever sky. They think
you're talking about a space raccoon, man.
Yeah,
I think you're just jealous.
Oh, God. Is that what raccoons think of when they're kids?
Space raccoons.
Space.
I mean, I'm not being horrible. We got like a massive tree that walks and talks as well. So
yeah,
don't start looking gross. No, that makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Well, they've got there was other animals with him on the floor, wasn't there? So you had like there should have been a hedgehog.
Walrus can talk.
There should have been a hedgehog.
But what Randy's saying is, and I do like Randy's approach to the trailers, which should be, if you've never seen a Guardians film before, like if you are of an age, if you're 9, 10 or 11, and maybe you're just maybe your parents don't like all this shit. They're just normal, right? And your mates may have seen one of the Guardians films, and this is your first one. This is your entrance into. And then from Disney's point of view, any one film they bring out, it's someone's first film, isn't it?
Mm.
That's the way they used to do the Marvel comics. It's someone's first read.
Yeah.
And I love that approach where, and that's what I like about Randy's approach to these traders, because they've got the high evolutionary in this trader, the black fella, and you've got Adam Warlock in it, and all they're both in there for, well, what they think they're doing is teasing the hardcore comic book fans, i.e. idiots like me, but they're not telling you enough. I'd rather them leave it out. He doesn't look like the big bad, the high evolutionary. So why have him in it? Who's the enemy? You kind of see Warlock. You hear a voice saying, "Destroy the Guardians."
Yeah,
Warlock charging along. They're going to get Adam Warlock wrong.
I would say, what do you think about his look?
Oh man,
it doesn't quite match, does it?
Warlock was created, was created by scientists as the perfect evolution of a human.
Yeah.
Now I know he's a good actor. Old Polt, what's his name?
Yeah, I know you talk about. Yeah,
Will Poulter.
Will Poulter. I know he's a good actor. He is not the perfect evolution of a man. And the high evolutionary in the comics, and I don't expect them to follow the story. That's one thing I don't want them to do. I don't want them to do it, because how the high evolutionary just happened to have the soul gem hanging around and he robbed it in his head. In the comics. Now, I don't expect, and that was Jim Starlin at his most, he was on acid at the time. and that's no lie. He was on acid, and Adam Warlock come out of it. It was his star-spanning thing, and Thanos come from it. This is all from Jim Starlin when he's on acid in the late 60s, early 70s, working for Marvel. And it went from the hippies to, and he was like an ex-Vietnam veteran who was a machine gunner on in the Hueys, you know, in the Vietnam War. And he comes home and he starts writing comics. And not that that's got anything to do with it, but it was madness. I don't expect any of them to do that, but the soul gem, I think they've missed a trick. I think they're almost too late.
Yeah.
Because Adam Warlock and the High Evolutionary and all that were part of all the Thanos quest and all that.
Well, they can always get a soul stone. They can always get the soul stone from another multiverse, man.
Well, it looks. Oh yeah, of course they can. No, it's in the drawer in Loki, innit? What was that?
That's it. Yeah,
just in the drawer now. Oh yeah, what are they? Oh, just Infinity Gems pushed shut.
People using them as paperweights. Yeah. Oh, hang on. He's remembered something.
So, Adam Ward, look, that's what William Poulter should be looking like. I don't think he's going to look like that in this film, do you?
Nope. If he does, maybe I'll go watch it.
He's done well. He's done well, the boy. Give him credit where credit is due. He has done well.
He has done well, but look, in the death shit, they ain't going to do that. I mean, they just released the latest comic. Look, let's Pip the Troll. Gamora's back. See, that's where Gamora first came out as well. One of these is the first appearance of Gamora. Anyway, it doesn't matter what one of them is.
See, Gamora actually is going to be an interesting part of it, because she doesn't remember, does she?
No, she's not the same Gamora, is she? She's a different, yeah.
And hilarious issues.
Yeah, because she's the Gamora from 2014. So she's never met Peter Quill. So for her, no event from Guardian 1 and 2 actually ever happened for her.
No.
So,
and that does look quite funny how they're handling that. Have any of you seen the clip that they've done of them two sitting down in the spacesuit?
Yeah.
I'll admit, I am looking forward to this one. I hope they don't break my heart again. And I think are we all in agreement that we hope this one is good and does?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
We're kind of almost not wishing it any ill will, are we?
No.
No, we want it to be good.
Love these guys. And getting back to a lot of the things that Randy bangs on about, the family element of it.
Well, as well, it's the last pre-established.
The heart of it.
It's the last of the pre-established that we know and love. From the Marvel point of view, that hasn't yet been ruined.
I just hope
it's the last one.
And not in a horrible way. I'm not saying it horrible way. I just hope they all die at the end. And it's a
Blaze of Glory.
Yeah. As Bon Jovi once sung.
So I've been meaning to do this, but I should have done it before I went through and watched all the trailers again. But keeping track of how many of the Marvel, DC, superhero comic book, anyway, all of those superhero, especially movies where the thing that's supposed to draw you in is that the fate of the world is at stake. And they say this line, everything and everyone that you know will be gone. I don't care about that. I mean, no matter how much I love the characters, hearing that so many times, I just kind of go, okay, whatever. And it occurred to me that I would love to see an antagonist who has a personal vendetta against one character that you care about. And while they're trying to save the world doing this other thing, this antagonist is after them. And maybe that antagonist is not the one causing the world catastrophe, but they're making it impossible for them to accomplish this. Like, that was just a plot that popped into my head. And I said, if I saw a trailer that conveyed that, just because it's not, once again, everything you know and love will be dead, it's like, no, I'm after you. You will never be able to do anything for anyone ever. No matter what you do, I'm going to make it impossible for you. That to me is more intriguing simply because it's different. And that's, yeah.
Sorry, the other issue as well is, like you were saying, when it's saving the world, you start off with saving the world, then you've got to save the galaxy or half the galaxy. Then you go into, we've got to save the multiverse.
Yeah.
It gets to the point when how much bigger can you get? You can't. So you reach that top. And in order to reach that, you have to then create new things that would then create that adversity, but then also solve that adversity, which then puts the plots of previous films at disregard, because then you go, well, they used that to save the multiverse. That was around when Thanos was around, so they could have used that to take out Thanos. So you start creating all these plot holes. So actually, by simplifying it and bringing it back, like you're saying, and actually just having, someone's got a personal vendetta against someone, that would be refreshing.
Have they never done that though? I mean, did they?
I was trying to think.
They loosely done that, if I remember rightly. Christopher Reeve, Superman 3. Didn't the guy that built that big machine? The job was to kill Superman, not to destroy the planet, to kill Superman. Am I right?
Was that the main plot though? Was that like?
I'm sure that was the main plot.
Okay.
I'm sure the main plot was to kill, because it was the one with Richard Pryor, and he had to go to Addis Ababa to get the big stone. I remember the movie. I've only seen it a couple of times, but
I guess, like, how long has it been since we saw that?
That's
story?
what I'm saying. That's the only instance I can think of where there is any. We're coming after you. We don't want to kill it. It's you. This machine is built to kill you.
The only character they've sort of kept it to that point, take out Justice League, but Batman, it's always, at the very most, it's about saving Gotham. Apart from Justice League sort of side of it.
But Gotham is the world, right?
Yeah. It's like the Spider-Man, the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's the nasty neighborhood bat. Yeah.
Well, that's the bit I think that Marvel, I don't know if DC have, apart from Batman, you would have your street level characters.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm more of a Marvel fan than DC, so I can only really do this through the Marvel lens, which is you would have characters like Daredevil or Luke Cage or Jessica Jones, which all the Netflix, which someone somewhere had the bright spark idea. The films were going galactic, which is fine, bigger and bigger spectacles. But they went, the Netflix, let's do all the street guys. Yeah. Like Amber's saying, like, let's just make it, Daredevil versus Kingpin, and let's make it that he's got to save not even the city, just Hell's Kitchen. He's got to save the area.
Yeah.
But even then, you have to make sure that the concept itself of this is not a personal thing. You need to be careful with that. So, okay, what you're talking about is, all right, we've got Spider-Man and it's save the neighborhood. Now, in that case, because the scope of the story is limited to the neighborhood is the universe. It is the world. So when somebody says, I'm going to destroy your neighborhood, it's the same thing. But yeah, if it's like we're going after a specific organization or a specific person or maybe a specific family, that's a little bit different. So I haven't seen what you're talking about. I haven't seen the Netflix version. And if that's what they did, if they said, we're going to keep it narrow, or we're going to have like specific stories about specific people and groups that are not a destruction of the whole world for this particular character, which could be just the neighborhood, then that's intriguing, because you can explore so much within that.
Yeah.
See, I think the saving the neighborhood or the town pretty much only works in America. If someone said to me over here, we're going to take out your home and your neighborhood, I'd be like, yeah, take it. It's a pile of shit anyway. I'm moving.
Yeah,
I'll go somewhere nicer.
The rebuild. I can't wait.
Yeah, it'll be rebuilt better. It needs a refurb.
I'll have a look at the housing plan and I'll buy a new plot. But saying all of what we've just said, we have now got a man that runs back through time and through different universes in another trailer. So are you saying, Amber, that you're just done? Well,
you're
watching it and he's saying, I run through this era and I run through that era and I run through that era. You're thinking,
the thing that they're doing right is that they have the whole thing with his parents, right?
The idea of why he's doing it, I think. I think that's going to be the.
I do too, and I think if he has to, in order to put everything right, sacrifice having his parents, I think that'll be good. That'll be effective.
Yes.
I mean, anytime you make a major sacrifice for yourself, it elevates the story. At least, the main character, he has to make some sort of very big personal sacrifice in order to put things right. That elevates the quality of a story in a certain way. And I like that. And it's not about, I'm going to, risk my life to save the world. It's, I'm going to have to continue my life knowing that I gave up a chance to be with my parents. There's something more, there's something more painful about that than self-sacrifice. So I like that.
It's also a bit selfish and a bit narcissistic, but you kind of allow it, because if you had those powers, would you not try and do it?
Yeah, and I think that's hopefully going to be the point of it.
Yeah, I like it. I do.
Yeah.
Like it. What about you guys?
I spoke about the original Flash trailer at quite length
and
on one of the previous ones.
Didn't you? You said it'd be
well, one I predicted it would be the shitter of the year, but then to be fair, I saw the trailer, and last time when we spoke about the first trailer that came out, the Super Bowl one, I went off on one, and I think you guys just shut up and listened to me for a little while on that one, so I won't go off again. I won't go off again like I did, but it's a bastardization of the story. The important elements that Amber was saying were enhanced by having Thomas Wayne. They've basically bastardized it. That's the only element of the Flashpoint story. The Atlantean Themyscirian War's been swapped out for General Zod. Superman's been swapped out for Supergirl. We, instead of having Thomas Wayne, so in Crime Alley, Bruce Wayne died, Thomas Wayne survived. Instead of having that, we've now got Michael Keaton. So you've got alternate versions. So that tells me it's not just time travel, it's actually multiverse level. And by the sounds of it, there's going to be a lot of cameos as well. But in this multiverse, you've got two Batmans, so played by different characters. At least. And there's rumors that you're going to have a cameo from Adam West, was it? They said Adam West is Batman. You're going to have Superman, all different things. So you're going to have
It's going to be so ridiculous.
Christopher Reeve, Superman.
Adam West, the same. It's the same.
It could be worse. They could have Lego Batman.
What's it? Yeah, pew pew.
It's the same Ezra Miller, and two Ezra Millers is going to get.
It's got a different haircut.
Tedious. Yeah, I hadn't spotted that. Different haircut. To be fair, I hadn't spotted that. You've got why not do? You've got to have a different. It's two. Yeah.
It's
weird.
It's going to be. It's for the fans that know it. It's going to be very disappointing. It's taken one aspect and it's run with it. For people that don't know it, it's going to be entertaining. But people that are still there for DC and still watching the DC films, I think there will be something there for them potentially. I think the only thing that's universally there for everyone is the fact we get to see Michael Keaton's Batman again. And it's a Batman movie. You've got 2 Batman in it that we know of. There's going to be more.
Yeah.
It's going to be a Batman movie wrapped in a Flash dressing gown.
Yeah, because this has gone through like loads of reshoots, isn't it? This has done like reshoot after reshoot after reshoot.
Yeah. It's been a lot of reshoots.
So,
I'm wondering if Supergirl is actually a trans boy. Because that's very on point at the moment.
But then, hang on a minute. Where would she have got the surgery done? Where would she have got the surgery done? Because if she's Kryptonian, Krypton exploded, the tools they have here are not strong enough.
I don't know.
She would have had to go to a Kryptonian surgeon.
I don't know what they've done, but it's a very diverse and inclusive planet, so I heard. But she looks like the most miserable, grumpy.
Well, again, if they
I don't want to see a believe a girl can fly.
If they go with the and have literally swapped Supergirl out for Superman. Superman was captured upon landing on Earth and was literally in a cell, weak, with no access to sunlight for their entire life. And in this, to try and to try and stop the Themyscira and Atlantean War, they track down Superman and free him. He then be able to get to the sun.
You just dug up your script for the.
No, that's Flashpoint. That's part of Flashpoint. And what I'm saying is that moodiness could work.
Yeah.
For Supergirl if they're following the same storyline.
I don't want to see a moody Supergirl.
But you would have got a really Superman if they hadn't swapped him out.
Really, Batman should be the moody one, shouldn't he? With bats around, like he's got the right time of dad were killed. I don't want to see a moody Supergirl.
We shouldn't even see Bruce Wayne anyway.
Short skirt, nice brand new cape.
The beauty of the Flashpoint story was Barry's done it because he can save his parents. In doing so, he then meets Thomas Wayne, who has lost his son, and Thomas Wayne knows that if Barry Allen resets the timeline, he will then cease to exist, but his son will live, and he gets a message through to his son. So you've got the 2 parallels. You've got the kid trying to save the parents, and the parents trying to save the kids. The 2 parallels work really nicely together.
They do.
Taking that element out of it, and it's purely for nostalgia bait, and have Michael Keaton back. I'm happy to have Michael Keaton back. I want to see him. But by doing that and not having him as Thomas Wayne, but having him as Bruce Wayne, Michael Keaton from the '89 Batman, you remove that element of the story, which then weakens the main thread of your story of Barry Allen trying to save his parents, then realizing he's got to sacrifice them. So I'm very skeptical. I'd love it to be good.
I still can't get my head around the fact that they're using that Christopher Nolan style segment where he gets dropped off on the bat. I know I'm getting into silly details here now. I would not be surprised to see Kristen Bell.
No, I wouldn't.
I would. I still make, and I know they filmed that in Scotland or Newcastle or something. In England.
Yeah.
I will see Robert Pattinson instead.
The way the cape is moving and the fact that, and I know it's not the, I don't know. It's so Nolan in the whole scene. Even with the cars rolling around, and he uses the bat bike to get. That's pure.
Yeah.
Batman.
I must say, I did like Affleck's suit. It had the blue and grey. Did you notice that in the trailer?
Yeah.
It had the classic blue and grey, which I quite liked. But yeah, I don't know. The worst bit of the trailer for me was the three, and it's all mean and moody. Supergirl's got the hump. She's got miserable. Even her suit, everything's miserable. But then there's a bit at the end where the 3 of them skid. Not Batman. You got Flash, Supergirl. Who's the other one? The other Flash. It's the other Ezra Miller.
And they skid. They do a power skid at the end. And it's all kicking off, and I'm thinking, oh my God, yeah, will I go back in time to save my mum and dad? And and you've got brooding Batman, and he's swooping down. And then right at the end, they do a skid for about 10 foot in the sand.
Yeah. I just don't understand the reasoning for having 2 Ezra Millers. I don't get it. Because they really haven't thought about their formula. But they really haven't thought about their formula, because if he's gone back in time to save his parents and reset the timeline, he would be a man potentially out of time.
Yeah.
But
going into it a bit too much here, Liz. Like,
Yeah.
But you just wouldn't get it. But then the multiverse side of it, just none of it makes sense.
Liz. No, none of it makes sense.
Set your rules is what I'm saying. Set your rules, and that can see and you can believe, and then you can believe in it. But it's all over the place. You can tell.
When's this due out?
June.
Oh, not long.
No, I reckon the girl who plays Supergirl will be advertising Bud Light soon.
Possibly.
Are we going political now? Are
we? That's big for you guys in the States, and it just give me a moment of the impact of what's that's having over there. Are either of you drinking Bud Light ever again? Ever?
No, you actually can see aisles in the alcohol section of our stores, the Bud Light side, all the Anheuser-Busch, they're all there.
Wow, Randy,
people are not buying.
Are you seeing the same thing, Randy, or do you drink?
Oh yeah, there's
a huge. Buying it up. You're buying it up in bulk at cheap prices.
They've just gone through a new advertising campaign, haven't they? Gone back to the old school cowboy,
right? But
Bud Light, and
it's like the damage is
they're
done.
Just pandering to everyone, that they haven't changed their message. So no, there is definitely a very large resistance to this. So about 30% of the Bud Light drinkers have switched over to another brand of beer, and it doesn't look like they're planning on going back.
Corona.
So no, actually, I've heard that they're going to Coors Light, which is actually a worse beer, and Miller Lite. So it's not like those are great alternatives and everything, but some of the newer beer companies, smaller companies, are making huge gains because there is so many people switching. And then once these people get used to the other beer that they're drinking, they're just going to stay with that.
Yeah.
I recommend Stella Artois.
Stella Artois.
Yes. What I find interesting is how this stuff has now moved out of everything I love: film, TV, comics, all this shit that these corporations that, like, if you want to dress it up in a culture war ribbon, for some reason it's been happening to everything I love. It's been eroding, corroding. And I do love beer, but what I'm talking about is they've been attacking everything I love. But now it's happening to normal people.
Yeah.
Like the beer you've been drinking, the company who sold that to you for, so, all right, so say you're 30, 40, 50. You've been drinking a beer for decades. You like it. You like the taste. You know, you've never been bothered about it. But the company decides to insult you via their advertising. Does that make sense? It doesn't to me.
No, I mean, it makes sense in today's world somehow, but it doesn't make sense to marketing.
How does...
Wait until we get Jackie Daniels.
Who?
Jackie Daniels.
Jack Daniels. Yeah, they've already done that. They were promoting a drag show.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, that was, everybody was trying to like, oh, you think Bud Light is the only company doing this? And then they were bringing up Jack Daniels. So
I thought you were an actor I'd never heard of.
Jackie Daniels, yeah. Sorry.
I thought, was this some bird in like the first Transformers film in 1986? Or Superman 3?
You didn't like Superman 3? You didn't watch Superman 3?
I've noted Tayters film references tonight have so far been
Go on.
It's your Transformers film and Superman 3. And I thought I was the geeky old hog, man. I've got to think of something more geeky than that. I've got me more
go further back.
I've got to go more geek than that. I've got to raise my geek game, man. I've got to raise my geek game to keep up with Tayters tonight.
There we go. Geeky old spud.
Getting back on track just quickly. Michael Keaton.
Are you
getting back on track? Actually talking about movies. Oh, okay. Go on.
No, he's talking about the Flash trailer. Fuck knows what's going to happen when the film comes out. I've got to do a hogCAST special.
Liz, are we going?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to do it.
I can't go. We used to. I can't go with Liz to watch this film. He's going to be huffing and puffing through them little nostrils of his all the way through, I reckon. He'll have a stack of the graphic novels there going, no.
Balls.
Boy, volume 2, page 88. That didn't happen. What about the film of war?
I was just going to say, Michael Keaton must be a little bit pissed off because he came back and he was actually in 3 DC films. So he filmed scenes for Aquaman 2, which have been cut, and he's been replaced by Ben Affleck. He's filmed scenes for this Flash movie. The star isn't doing too well, and it's been recut God knows how many times. And Batgirl was cancelled and shelved completely, and he was filmed scenes for that. So he's after all these years, he's finally back as Batman. One shelved, one he's cut from, and then he's left with this, in which they're now hanging the whole film around him. I'd be fuming.
Yeah, well, thinking about it now, we're talking about the Michael Keaton, and there's 2 Flashes, they're both Ezra Miller. One thing that could potentially really wind me up for this in this film is the fact that if he's just the same Batman taken from the 1989 film, like he hasn't aged. Like I liked when Ben Affleck was doing the older Batman, the grumpy, grizzled, miserable one. He hadn't got rid of crime in Gotham, so he's going to have the isn't he? That comes straight out of the comics. That does.
Yeah.
The Dark Knight Returns. He's got the because he's failed.
Yeah.
He has failed in his mission. Right. But so far, all we've seen is Michael Keaton as 40 years later.
That's good nuts.
40 years later, playing the same character. That would be like bringing back, what was it who played the original Wonder Woman?
I forget the girl's name.
The actress.
Carter.
Yeah, Linda Carter.
Linda Carter, yeah.
That would be like bringing Linda Carter back and dressing her up in the same outfit and saying, I'm still Wonder Woman. You go, well, really? You could have got a bit more appropriate costume at your age, love. Anyway, that's by the by. But no, that potentially that could be something stupid.
Yeah.
He is still the same Batman, but he's 40 years older.
Yeah.
You wouldn't still be kicking about in that way, would you? But because they're doing all the riffs from the original.
Well, he's doing more as an old man than what he ever did in the '89 films. He's jumping from planes, and
I mean, the Batwing is actually kind of chinking at the end of it, which I thought was a bit lame. He should have just swooped out of the way, shouldn't he? But for some reason, the Batwing's going down, and it kind of goes ding on his cape, doesn't it? Did you notice that? And I thought, oh, that's shit.
Well, when you have a hero or a character that people really love and they're off screen for years like this, I'm thinking of Maverick. Why was Maverick such a success? And it's like we've talked about this before. It's because what's the name of the actor? Come on, what's his name?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. Okay, it's not okay. It's because they did not take Tom Cruise's character and turn him into somebody else, and they did not devalue who he was in the previous movies. There's a very delicate balance between how do we show that a character has grown and changed with the times, but has not been devalued in some way because of this, Yeah. And so I think that it's going to be critical to the success of this film that Michael Keaton is still Batman. Yes, he's got to. So I don't look at it and go, oh, crap, they're going to try and pass off this old geezer as, still the Batman like they've been doing with Picard, right? Yeah. He should not be doing that. But I see it as, okay, they've recognized at least this one thing, that he still has to be Batman. He still has to be the guy that we knew. And I'm hoping that they're going to find some way to incorporate that there has been some development and change, but it hasn't changed the essence of who he is. And you can have things like maybe his technology has gotten better, right? His access to tech is better, because you would hope that has developed over 40 years, right? And so that's helped him to do what he's doing. But keep him still the badass, because if you don't, people are going to look at it and be like, that's not Batman. And it's going to, maybe it has to be a little less realistic. Like obviously 40 years later, a man couldn't do this, but they've got to figure out a way to make it work that he is still the same guy.
it does beg the question, though.
An older geezer, you know, he would still be training, wouldn't he? And I know we're taking.
Yeah, but like I said, it does beg the question: what are they going to do with Adam West if Adam West is in this?
I think they're just going to get easy clips. They're going to get clips from the original stuff, aren't they? They're going to get the cast. They're not actually going to be in it. It's because
it's going to be
give them a
deep fake.
And a
rumor as well. Christopher Reeve as well.
It's going to be clips of when Barry Adam's running through the Speed Force.
Yes, that's
right.
So it's just going to be like swoosh, 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 and everyone's going, "Oh my God, Linda Carter cameo! Oh my God, Adam West cameo!"
I'm going to say, like, literally, yeah. What's Adam West going to do? Sit there and drink soup? It's just like,
the other thing as well, which hasn't been mentioned, the aesthetics of Tim Burton's Batman. The aesthetics of Tim Burton's Batman was so iconic.
Yeah. How are you going to translate this?
Yeah. Are we going to see when Barry Adam does go to Gotham? Are we going to see that Gotham, or are we going to see New York?
I tell you, on that subject of Tim Burton's, like the aesthetic of the original, the one bit I really, really did like was when he says, "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts." And there's bats behind him. During this, as he's saying it, he goes, "Do you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts." And the bats go behind him. And I thought that was just, I know it's only like that. Oh yeah, at least someone remembered. At least someone remembered that one line. If you're going to do a cameo, cameos, and I think they want to out cameo the Spider-Man film, don't they? With Flash, 100%. They are thought, right. Oh, they done all them lot, right? Well, how many can we do?
Yeah,
but I think.
Well, they were filming it beforehand, but then
I think
they got stalled.
What's that?
They were filming it before No Way Home, but then they got stalled, so No Way Home actually came out.
They've had a ton of reshoots, haven't they? So
filming,
but Michael Keaton was always in it.
It seems
Michael Keaton was in it from day one.
I mean, they've got to really speed up. I mean, so moving on from
they got to speed up.
See what I did there? I meant to say that. No one can say any different because it's my channel. And so moving on from that to Aquaman 2, talking about how much time it elapses from, because this, for me, this is a film now that has no home. No place, does it? It's a film. It's a bit like Black Widow for Marvel. By the time they did that, the character was dead. Yeah, and the next phase or stage 5 was underway. Was it phase 4?
Phase 4.
Phase 4, yeah. So phase 4 is well underway, and everyone's going, Black Widow, what? Yeah. Do you think it's the same with Aquaman 2? And it must be the same for the general public as well, because they must be thinking, apart from the Momoa fans, that think, it's all right.
Well, the guarantees of this is, one, you know Momoa's going to deliver. Momoa delivers whatever he does. So you know Momoa will deliver. 2, they've done a hell of a lot of reshoots on this as well.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton was supposed to be in it, he's not in it. Then you had the old Amber Heard situation. I did like in the trailer, you literally saw her eyes because she's been cut from the whole trailer. And the one shot you got of and the one shot you got of her, half of Momoa's coat was covering her face. Yeah. So literally you just saw her eyes. It looks like they're doing some intriguing things. It looks like they're covering the Trench storyline. You've got King Shark, etc. But ultimately, it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. And one thing, I've said this to you earlier in the week, Hog, the timing of this movie is very bad on multiple fronts. One, because we know we're getting the James Gunn reboot of the DC universe. Yeah. But 2, this is a film predominantly set underwater. It's very bright. It's very, very like wild in your face. But my worry is it going to look cheap after watching Avatar 2 Way of Water?
Yes.
Big time. Yeah, and it does look, even without Avatar, it doesn't look great.
It never did.
No, it's CGI in it. I mean, that's why they had Amber Heard in it. She was looking at her more than you was looking at the CGI backgrounds.
Remember, you're also going to have I know it's a different audience, but not that different. The Little Mermaid is coming out. So you've got another underground or underwater. Story. Yeah.
Actually, and the trailer looks brighter than the Little Mermaid trailer.
It does. How depressing and weird is that?
Well, that's a crossover, isn't it, for Disney?
Yeah.
Aquaman and the Little Mermaid.
Wow.
What a crossover.
Yeah.
So which of you are going to watch it?
What, Aquaman?
Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
Aquaman 2 or Little Mermaid?
I'm not going to watch Little Mermaid.
Have you seen it, Randy, the trailer? Aquaman 2. Randy?
I didn't see the original Little Mermaid, so I'm not going to see the second one.
No. What about Aquaman 2 trailer?
I'm sorry, which one?
Aquaman 2. Did you see it?
I have not seen it.
Oh, you might as well turn them headphones off. I'll put a sign up.
I'm sorry. I have been very busy lately. I have not been watching much.
We'll let you off.
Okay.
So again, but where do we think? So we hope that Guardians, what we're saying so far, we're all hoping Guardians. None of us, I think I'm saying it's going to be a hit, but saying modest.
We're skeptical. We hope it's going to be good, but we're skeptical.
I'm saying that's going to be a modest hit. The Flash, I think that's going to do really well. I think they'll do better than Guardians.
The Flash is going to do well, even just because of all the cameos.
Yeah, just because of that.
Yeah.
Like the last Spider-Man film.
Yeah.
The greatest Spider-Man film I've ever seen.
The plot of the last Spider-Man film you could rip apart with ease.
Of course you can.
There's glaring issues with that film.
We all went, yay, shiny things. Let's all go and see them.
Yeah.
So what about Aquaman 2? What do we think?
Aquaman 2 is going to be somewhere between the poor performance of Shazam and whatever the Flash does. It'll be the middle ground.
I think it's going to be Shazam 2 levels of done.
Yeah. I think it's just been too long. It's just been too long. Yeah. It's just dragged its heels. So
no one's interested.
The momentum's gone.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a flop. I think it's going to be the end of Aquaman. I think it'll be the end. I mean, I think these are all, everything is coming to an end very quickly. I mean, we've seen nothing but plummeting numbers in theaters with the exception of 2 movies in the last 5 years that have done well, right?
But then James Wan is a gifted director. He's done some good stuff in the past, and he's directing this. So,
was he?
Yeah, James Wan's done some good stuff. So I'm hoping.
What has he done?
Aquaman.
Well, he done. Well,
Man Free.
He done a random Mission Impossible film. He's done some horror stuff. I think he done
random. It can't be a random
The Grudge
film. What one was it?
Done The Grudge.
James Wan.
He did The Grudge.
I'm pretty sure he done The Grudge. He's done loads of random horror films.
What Mission Impossible did he do?
The techno one where it's all slow mo and cool and slick. Number 2, I think.
No, there's John.
I swear James Wan done the Mission Impossible film.
No, it's Johnny Woo. Done the second one.
You sure?
Positive.
Yeah.
He's done stuff anyway, but he's a good director.
Is he? Well,
he has done.
No, but to be fair, if he's got a good track record, then fair play to Warner Brothers. It's someone with a track record other than from like Marvel do. Oh, what, you done Rick and Morty? Oh, come over here then, do a film.
It's not even the level of Rick and Morty. It'd be one short film from about 10 years ago.
But I think it just, for me, in summary, it's garish and it looks silly. Now, I know we're talking about silly people in capes and silly costumes, but this actually looks, there's a shot of Momoa. Now, that man looked impressive. I'm heterosexual, by the way, but if he gets me more viewers, I still say, if I was in that way, he's all right. He looked impressive when he was coming out of the sea, and was it Justice League or whatever, and Bruce Wayne was after him and he was in the fishing village.
Yeah.
When he comes, you're thinking, oh yeah, that's Aquaman, yeah, come on. In this, there was one scene where he's standing on a ledge and looking down in the trench, and he's got these like welly boots on or something, and whatever he was wearing, and he just looked silly, you know, like where he didn't look like oof. Like,
was he supposed to look cool at that moment?
Well, yes, I think superheroes, you know.
No. I mean, in the moment you're talking about, the one that you think looks silly, was he supposed to look cool and it just came off as silly? Okay, that's sad.
You know, he was on a ledge going, oh, and you hear the background voiceover saying, oh, this is the trench. And then they show you all
no.
Rah, rah. But he looked like he was standing there in a farm in his wellies. Going, oh, I don't know about these Tayters this month. Oh, anyway, that's all I've got to say about Aquaman 2. If anyone's got anything else to add.
I'm not going to bother going to see it. Nah, it's too much of a coin toss whether it'll be worth it or not to even go. So I'll wait till it to come out. I'll wait for it to come home.
I am learning now, since Quantum Mania, I am learning to sit in the cinema, just silently seething but drinking, and seething a little bit more. And when the seething gets too hard, I have another drink and then mock it again. So I'm getting into a nice rhythm with this shit. So shit. Witcher Series 3. Yay!
Oh dear.
Come on, Amber and Randy, you love this fantasy shit.
I do, but
I love fantasy, yes.
Come on, kick it off. Bring it, man. Used to bring it.
No, this is the end of Witcher. I mean, I think people are very devoted to what's his name?
Henry Cavill.
Yes, Henry.
We're having trouble with names tonight.
I am.
That's his name.
I do actually think that the other Hemsworth guy is going to be very good, but I think that people are going to look at the reasons why Henry Cavill left, and it's going to be blaring to them. It's going to just be in their face that this is why he left.
Yeah.
Because it's doing these bad things. Like Blood Origin was so horrendous.
Did you watch it?
I watched most of it and said, forget this. This is bullshit. And the thing is you at least have to be consistent with your storytelling. If you set up certain elements in your world and in your story, you can't be like, well, you know, we're just going to pretend like these people are actually alive at this point, even though we know that they're dead. That's trash. It's garbage. And you're going to see little things like that, I think, in season 3. You're going to see that and say, okay, we understand why this is why he's left. And at the end of season 3, I don't think we'll see more.
I think it's been tarnished. So for me personally, The Witcher, I wanted to get into it, but I just couldn't get into the first season. I got through the first season, but I bloody struggled getting through that.
It was boring as hell.
Yeah, season 2, I didn't bother. Season 2, I didn't bother. But with season 3, if you was looking at that trailer, not knowing anything else, you'd probably go, okay, like average. But because you know that the writers were openly mocking it, and like the source material, because you know of all the stuff that's happened behind the scenes,
straight away. Yeah,
straight away you got a bias, and that trailer's been ratioed like nothing. It's proper been ratioed. And most of the comments on the trailer was "We love you, Henry," and stuff like that.
But I think just purely on the strength of it as a trailer, it was very light. It was very CW.
It didn't look the same.
It was
at one point she just looked
scenes stitched.
At one point, the lady in it looked like she just walked on set and hadn't even had a costume change.
Yeah,
just wearing like some random blouse. It was just weird.
There was no, you know, I know Randy's a stickler for this. Like, you know, what does it tell me about what I'm watching? Again, if it was someone's first series,
yeah.
If this trailer, you stumble upon this trailer in this day and age on your tick book or your face talk, whatever it is, and you think, oh, this looks cool, but the first thing you're going to want to do is watch the first 2 series if you think this looks cool, and then you're going to watch the 3rd series. But this succession of silly scenes that tells you nothing about, oh, he looks cool and there's a creaking door at the beginning. all right, that's nice for the setup. Oh, he's got a big sword. Yeah. Oh, come on, here we
He
go.
has a drink and his eyes get glazed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, come on, like, oh, what's going on there? And then you get some scenes of girls and a bit of wind and a forest, and then it's gone. I know it's a teaser. And
I think as well,
isn't he a
it's
monster hunter?
the books and the games are very
Yeah, he's
well
supposed to be.
beloved.
So
Yeah,
where he's got a big sword, couldn't you have a monster go, girl, I'm gonna, and he goes, no, and that's and that's your teaser. But they've got all the girls in it, and their hair's all blowing in the wind, and the trees and the leaves.
I want specifically that moment where the big monster comes out and he goes, no.
No.
I want that. I want that so bad.
That's it. Stop being a dick.
It just seems like such a waste of potential, doesn't it?
Yes.
It does. Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Because the books and the games are loved by quite a few people. I don't know the lore behind it. I don't know much about it apart from what I saw in season 1. But for the people that love this, I'm saying, not knowing anything really about it, it looks like a lot of wasted potential. But for the people that love it, they must be seething.
Was you
Must
into
be
The Witcher,
seething.
Randy?
I'm sorry, what?
The Witcher at all?
I watched 5 minutes, and it was so horrible. Yeah, and I watched 5 minutes, and it was of this last season that was just on.
Yeah,
and it was so horrible. I'm like, no, I would rather poke my eyes out than watch it anymore. That was it. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to Warhammer 40K.
Yeah,
which is Cavill has indicated that he's interested in doing. So that would be great, and he would do a great job on it. So I prefer to.
We're at this point, we're probably only 5 or 6 years out from seeing that film.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means I can save up my.
But no, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. As soon as
I can save up my limited watching TV time for that instead of that horrible Witcher. I mean, it was really. I mean, so 5 minutes. If I can't last longer than 5 minutes, that's not good, right? And it was based on the acting and the fact that the limited amount that I know about the story world, it already didn't make sense. It was just.
Is that Blood Origin, Randy? You mean? Is that Blood Origin, the silly one?
Right.
Is that the one you watched? You couldn't get through.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't think anybody got through it, did they?
They got through it in the same way that they got through Rings of Power. They got through it for the sake of, you know what? I just have to see how far down into the pile of shit they actually take this. And it goes pretty far.
I didn't even go in with that. I'm like you guys. Episode 1 just done me, and it was like, no, I'm.
Yeah.
You've done better than me.
If I still drank, maybe I could have, I don't know, muddled my
10 minutes
through 10 minutes. Sober. No, 5 minutes was all I could do.
Yeah,
I didn't even bother. I watched the trailer, just instantly wasn't interested. To be fair,
me and my son have found the secret since Venom 2 in the cinema. Take cans of cider and laugh.
Didn't your son though like Witcher season 2?
What's that?
Didn't your son like The Witcher?
Yeah, Luke, I mean, he played the game. He came to Witcher from the game, and I couldn't get on with the first series. Normally, me and him are more or less,
See, I enjoyed the first season.
Metaphorically, hand in hand. There were moments in the first series, but it just didn't get going. It weren't about him and monsters. I want to see the monster hunter hunting monsters and not getting involved with a weird woman, It was boring. I wouldn't mind if it was a seer that was a bit weird, but no. Anyway, but that's just me personally. But Luke, coming from the games, he loved the first series. Everyone moaned, even the gamers, in the wider world, was moaning about series 2, and he liked that as well. I don't know. And then I decided I haven't spoken to him.
Disowned him, don't talk to him anymore.
So, I mean, predictions for that, it's obviously not going to do. On the back of Blood Origin, it does make me wonder how well Cavill could have, even if he hadn't had the sack. Say this was the last series and they said, we're not doing any more. After Blood Origin and how badly that went down, it does make me wonder how much Cavill could have turned this around, because series 2 weren't great.
I don't think many people will watch it other than the Cavill fans.
Yeah,
it would just be, let's watch Henry do his bit. It's yeah.
Well, let's see what happens with Netflix. Well, that'll be a shitter, I think.
Yeah,
I agree.
That's going to flop.
So, from the sublime to the ridiculous, or the other way round, in Trailer Town, Equaliser 3.
Ooh.
Oh,
Has everyone watched the Red Band trailer
Yes.
of that?
Yeah.
Randy.
Oh,
Randy, man.
the Red Band trailer. Did I miss?
yeah.
Is there something specific that I was supposed to be looking
Red
for? I
Band,
just looked
I
up the
mean,
most recent.
Oh, that was super violent. That was the first trailer I watched. I thought that was the only one they released, funnily enough.
Yeah, so you got the family friendly sort of trailer, which is just everyone, and you got the Red Band trailer, which has got all the gore and all that sort of stuff.
Okay, damn, that's not the one I watched, but
well, this looks like an film.
In the Red Band trailer, he stabs a bloke in the eye with a gun.
okay, I did not see that one.
And then shoots
a gun.
I would have remembered that.
Looks like
And then he shot a bloke with a knife.
The bloke's head, he shoots someone else with.
Yeah, so he rams his gun into this bloke's eye and then shoots, and it just goes out through the back of the bloke's head into the other bloke behind. It's hilarious.
So fantastic.
It's going to be an R-rated movie.
No, nah. PG-13.
It'll be fine.
So why do a family-friendly trailer?
Well, didn't they do that with Deadpool? Didn't they do that with Deadpool, where they chopped it all up and cut all the bad bits? And
I don't know, did they?
I'm sure they did. I'm sure they did a Christmas version of Deadpool, and they Deadpool 2, and they chopped it up and made it family friendly.
And that's a really good idea. And it suits Deadpool, doesn't it? It suits Deadpool and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Even to shoot some let's have another drink, put my teeth in. Shoot some extra scenes.
Yeah.
Where they kind of fluff over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would have been really funny. But yeah.
Like, the only thing I can think is there's only two reasons you would do that. The first is you want to be able to show this trailer in a theater where they're showing like a PG-13 movie. So they have to make it family friendly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And they're like, we want to put it there so that way the parents who've taken their kids to see these, or the adults who do go see rated R stuff, they will come and see it. Or two, you want to trick people into thinking it's okay to let their kids go and see this. I mean, I hope it's the first.
Normally it's so it can be the normal trailer, the green band trailer is normally the ones that they show on TV. The red bands is normally what you got to search for on the internet. So that way it doesn't affect their advertising, and they can still show off some of the swearing, some the gore and stuff like that. I think the pinnacle for me was at the very beginning, sitting on that chair, he's got a gun to his head, he's in a room surrounded by people, and he literally just sits there saying, "You've got 9 seconds to decide your fate."
Yeah.
I've loved all of them films.
Yeah,
they are good. And Denzel always delivers as well. Normally, he delivers that, man.
He's another actor who carries his movies.
Yeah,
I think he tends to have very good taste in what he does appear in. So
I liked all that stuff he did with. Funnily enough, we was talking about him. I mentioned him earlier. Tony Scott, who he did Man on Fire.
That was a good film.
Okay, that was a good.
And
did they ever get a sequel?
What, Man on Fire?
Yeah.
No.
Man Still on Fire.
Man Extinguished.
Man Extinguished.
But right from the beginning, see, now I think that's a trailer that was made, designed, and a film made and designed by grown-ups. Grown-ups. And the trailer, right from the beginning, the first note of music you hear is Italian, that mafia. You know straight away. You're in Italy. Yeah. Oh, here we go. I was thinking he's on holiday. He's on holiday in Italy and he's going to get involved. But no, we find out during this trailer, that's where he's settled. And it's going to be mafia.
Yeah.
But they say it. And yes, we know. That's all you have to do then. Here he is. We put the Equaliser in Italy. Here's the mafia. Get on with that.
Yeah.
That's a trailer. That was a trailer for me.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, no, definitely. One thing I will say is, what's with these 5-second trailers before the actual trailer now?
Oh, the trailer of the trailer.
Oh, yeah,
the trailer of the trailer.
That's something to do with
trailer,
isn't it? That's something.
So that That's done specifically for YouTube, because if you watch YouTube on your TV, I don't know how many of you guys do this, but we do it at my house. If you're scrolling through and your selector or mouse, basically the version of the mouse that is on your TV, it rests on one of those images long enough, one of those, thumbnails, it starts playing with the audio for about I think 15 to 20 seconds, I can't remember the exact number, but that's why they do it, because they want to hook you and make you click it so that you'll watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because once it plays that 10 or 20 seconds, it'll stop and it goes back to just the static thumbnail. And so the only way for you to see what happens next is click.
I had a feeling it was something to do with that, like some kind of social media scrolling effort that our attention span is 6 seconds now, isn't it? It's less than a goldfish. So we go, Well,
you think about it, it really does make good sense. I mean, if that's what they're doing, that is why they're doing it. I'm convinced. It's why I do it in my YouTube videos. At the very beginning, I put like a little thing that I hope will be catchy enough that people go, oh, I wonder why she's saying that. And then they'll click on it and watch the whole video to find out why I said what I said in the first 5 seconds of the video. It's just it's a very specific for people who watch YouTube on their TV, because it doesn't happen on your laptop and it doesn't happen on your phone. It only happens when you watch it on your TV, which I think more people are doing now.
Yeah.
I mean, just about everything that you can get on Netflix and Amazon Prime, you can get off of YouTube. You just have to pay for only the one thing. Think about how nice that is, actually, that you can not subscribe but still get exactly what you want.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, the future is not set still yet for how we are going to view all this content. I hate calling it content, but we're in a moment, I think, where it's still early days, like for streaming. Was it someone at Sony this week? I don't know if you saw this little snippet of news. Like the head of Sony said that streaming is absolute insanity. And he is adamant. This is the top guy at Sony. And he said, I want to make films that are successful. I am paraphrasing because I've just read the headline. But that's basically what he was saying. He was basically saying, you idiots over there that are really going for it with streaming, I think you're going down the rabbit hole of bankruptcy, whereas you make a film for X amount, you make a product for X amount, and you sell it on a platform for this amount, and you get your revenue back, and you can determine whether or not that was successful or not. And I know I've banged on about back in the day network TV, and I can't help thinking that advertising is the key to it.
Yeah,
because that's your barometer. If you're the head of your corporation, forget you've got films over there and you've got TV there, like so your screen at home. How do you, without charging people to watch one program at a time, which is what Amber was getting at? Like I like the idea, which is good.
Yeah,
just pay for what you get, but that's not good enough, is it, for corporations? That you can't run. All these people can't run all their corporations on that. So somewhere between that and what's happening now with the streaming services asking for your subscriptions, I just think that the network TV model of old isn't far off of where it's going to end up. Where you're going to, even Netflix, I think, of rolling out they're experimenting with an advertising model, aren't they? Where you pay less money because you watch adverts.
Yeah,
that's got to be the way. Sure, I can't see any other way that makes sense. I don't know about you guys. I mean, this is a question I didn't give you any brief on, but let's talk about it, because I think it's really interesting how these and it's Netflix, it's Disney, all right. Amazon are a little bit of an anomaly because they own so many billions everywhere else. They're not really bothered, are they?
No.
But they're in that in-between phase too, because you can buy specific shows and films from Amazon, whereas you don't have access to all of them.
No, that's true.
The problem with Amazon now, though, is you don't just get Prime like you used to. You've now got Prime, and you've got to download this app within it, and that app, and this app, and the other app. And it's,
I have BritBox, by the way.
Yeah. Have you started watching Only Fools and Horses yet?
No, I think that my parents have, though.
Yeah. Oh, they'll understand me more then once they've watched it.
You go right back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay.
They'll understand bonjour a bit more as well.
Gotcha.
But I don't know if anyone else has got any other thoughts on the format of what we're getting now, streaming.
Yeah.
How these corporations can manipulate. They can kind of tell us that what they've just done is the biggest, bestest hit ever.
Yeah.
Based on them telling us it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what I said before. You could get a bank of credits with your subscription, and where you apply your credits, gives them some sort of analytics and feedback.
Yes. Yeah. There's something in that. There's something.
Yeah.
I just can't help thinking that.
I don't know the logistics of it, like I said before, but it was just an idea,
or even a way to give feedback, because obviously on most streaming platforms you've got the like or the dislike button, but it doesn't really give people a thing. Maybe start incorporating some surveys into it. Like at the end, rate it out of 5 stars.
Would you really do it?
No,
Yeah,
but no. Okay, so make sure though. So you got to do what Tayters said and what Space Lizard said.
Yeah.
So you have to pay to see it, and then you are allowed to rate it.
Yeah.
Because if you're just allowed to rate it, you get the troll effect, where you're going to have a bunch of people who just want to hate on it for whatever reason, and they'll dislike and dislike. But make them pay for it.
And then yeah.
So Amazon, what is it? Audible. Audible is the audiobook service.
Yeah.
You get 1 credit per month, and 1 credit pays for 1 audiobook. I always make sure to get an audiobook that is more expensive than my monthly thing, because I'm like, I'm getting my money's worth, damn it. But that sort of thing is exactly what you're talking about, Taters. Like you get credits per month, depending on how much you spent, how much your subscription is, and then you only get specifically what you want. That's a really good way to do it, I think.
Yeah,
I mean, Amazon's already doing it.
I think my initial thing was do the credits and then just a thumbs up, thumbs down. But it was just like, let's say I don't know logistics of it, but I think it's a way of handling that, giving them some feedback and analytics.
How revenue is going to be carved out of the content they want us to consume, because at the moment they are all running out of steam. I think Netflix or Amazon is the anomaly, because they've just got billions just everywhere. But Netflix seemed to be the only one that because they were kind of first.
Yeah.
But that won't last forever. They can't. They have, they'll have a Stranger Things or they'll have a Squid Games.
Yeah.
They're not all Wednesday.
Didn't they just lose a ton of subscribers over this password sharing thing?
Yep.
I thought I read that. Yeah.
But that's good business. That's good business.
And no, absolutely. Yeah, no, yeah.
For the sake of £6 or £7, we had the controversy in this family. I paid for everything, but my son was paying for my Netflix.
Yeah.
And it was like, really, mate? Really?
Yeah.
Moan about it every now and again. But when push come to shove, then they went no, and they're cutting off the ties. Yeah, all right, I'll just pay whatever it was, the few quid. But
the only thing that's a bummer about that is for people who are like still one family, but have multiple houses that they're going through. So like my sister and her husband and my nephew, they live just like a couple blocks away. And so we share a Netflix account because they spend like 70% of their day here at this house.
Oh, right.
So why would they pay for it to be there and here? It's the same person, same customer. So yeah, it's obnoxious, but I mean, it is also very good business.
Yeah, I suppose if it's free for all, then it has got to be advertising revenue that pays for it, hasn't it?
I think what they need to do is just have a way of making it so that maybe you have to use a password to get in or something. But even that, you can just share the password. I have no idea. I haven't thought about this enough, but yeah, I saw a problem and.
It'll be retinal scans and stuff like that.
Oh, don't even joke about it. Of course it is. Of course it is. It's going to be linked to our phone and our ID. Anyway, let's not go there.
No.
Get all conspiratorial then. I was going to go.
I've already sold them the tech, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You've been selling Earth governments the tech, haven't you? I know what you're doing.
You know, the tech can't be that great, Space Lizard, because I can see that your helmet is not even attached to your suit. There is no like thing right around your neck there.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, what's the point of the breathing tube? Like, what is that?
It's more for like different gravities and atmospheres and stuff like that, so my eyes don't bulge out as much. Do you know what I mean?
It was laughing gas.
Actually, where's it attached to exactly? It goes behind your back. Where's it going to?
Darts.
Yeah, I don't see any of you lot with nunchucks, so it is what it is.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we wouldn't say that to your face. We wouldn't say that to your helmet, would we?
That's what she said.
Nice.
So the last trailer, the most ridiculous, I think, out of the bunch. But I don't know why I've watched it, to be fair, because I haven't watched. In this franchise that we're going to talk about, the last film I saw was the second one, which must have been 10 years ago.
Wow.
So Fast X. For some reason, I won't go and see this film, but for some reason I enjoyed the trailer.
Yeah.
I'm saying we're going to blow shit up and there's this bomb rolling down to the Vatican and he goes, oh, we'll all go to hell. I don't know, I was getting like a little tractor beam going, you know, perhaps a really boring day I was having, and this was the highlight of it. But I won't be going to see it. But the interesting thing for me with this film was apparently, I don't know if this is true, £340 million budget.
That
Man,
wouldn't surprise me.
But when you look at the cast, you've got to think to yourself, 100 million of that is for the cast.
Probably.
When you, I mean, how much is a Momoa and a Stave? I know Stave mate on Momoa scale, but I mean, he ain't going to be cheap.
No.
And all and et al. I would say.
Oh, Charlize Theron as well.
Oh yeah, she's worth all. Yeah, but she don't look too good in this, does she?
Really?
No,
you're too picky, man.
She looks like Supergirl.
It's all right though. They got Brie Larson in it.
Oh God, that was like, oh.
She looked all right for a machine gun. No, I thought she looked all right.
No, she didn't.
No.
Thing is, for me, like it's a. I tapped out after Fast 7, and that was the last one with Paul Walker.
But what about when what's his name? The bald bloke is in the car and he's going down the dam with his wheels on fire.
Yeah.
Side of the dam. Oh yeah, and his wheels are on fire and he's landing down the dam. Oh, yes.
For me, the first two were the best two. So the first one,
drift, man.
The first one was awesome. Thoroughly enjoyed that film. The second one, Too Fast, Too Furious, with all the neons and in Miami and all that sort of stuff. That was a good film as well.
Yeah.
Tokyo Drift kind of lost me a little bit, but then the fourth one sort of drew me back in because it had all the originals in it from the first film.
Yeah.
And then from 5 onwards, when The Rock entered, that's when it became these big action movies.
Yeah.
And every single one got bigger and more ridiculous. And then I was ready to tap out after the 6th one. And then, unfortunately, Paul Walker died. And I went to cinema to see the 7th one, just to see his final movie, just to see what had happened with that film and just have a little send-off. And then I tapped out. And I haven't been interested in them ever since. And I've heard things, I've seen trailers. It's just too far. It's too ridiculous.
It's very ridiculous. But even amongst the Paul Walker films, the one where they're in Dubai and they're jumping the supercar from building to building to building to building.
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. Like a different level. And to be fair, there's no. Obviously, I'm missing something here because that Fast 7, it was end up in the top 20 highest grossing of all time. And that probably did have something to do with Paul Walker's death.
Yeah.
But they've all grossed very, very well. So there's obviously something that they're doing right. But for me, the level it was in the original and Too Fast, Too Furious, where it was just solving crimes, there was little gangs here and there, and it was all revolved around the street racing world, and Paul Walker being undercover in that world. That's what I enjoyed. That was the heart of the franchise. And especially in the first one, when they are a family, you know, Dom Toretto and these little mismatch of people that he's got around him, doing the street racing, being notorious within that world, but then doing these heists, and the bond between them, that was the core of it. And yes, he does mention it all the time now. It's all about family. You know, you got Helen Mirren as his mum. You got John Cena as his brother now. You got everything kicking off. Oh, mate, it's just gone too far, too ridiculous.
How many? Too far, too ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Is that the name of the 11th one? All I will say is, what other franchise has had 9 sequels to the original?
Yeah, it's a fair play to them.
That's some going, and
they had a spin-off as well.
Reboots or anything.
Oh yeah, then that
they had a spin-off as well. Hobbs and Shaw, they had a spin-off.
So they've delivered. I mean, I think a lot of these other so-called Hollywood studios could take a look at what they're doing here for their core audience. Like, there's a lesson here, isn't there?
There's definitely something there.
People want is to sit down with their popcorn and their drink and keep
taking out reality
characters back. You know, take us into space, down a river dam, where it is. Take us to Tokyo, whatever it is. You know, drop us off of aeroplanes, whatever it is. But you're putting their bums on seats.
Yeah.
And then
that's because they're
more. It isn't.
I want Dom Toretto to turn up in the next Transformers movie.
I mean, I don't know who you're talking
crossover.
About. I love my cars.
Vin Diesel.
I love cars, but I can't get on with these films. I've had some cars, but these films have never bothered me.
But I think it's because it's really like what you said. It is targeting a specific audience. It's giving that specific audience exactly what they want and continuously bringing them back.
I don't see nothing wrong with that. It's like the horror film.
Yeah. That's fine. I don't like going to see horror films or movies about cars, but it's doing what it needs to do to keep them coming back again and again, 9 times.
Yeah. I think there's lessons to be learned there, but
popcorn fun.
Also, this was meant to be the last one, wasn't it? Remember we spoke about this. This was meant to be the last one, and we spoke about it.
You're saying it's not going to be?
Apparently, no. They're starting the script. Fast and Furious 11.
I love them for that. I can't knock them at all for the money they earn out of all these films. I don't know where to start knocking them. I can't.
It's going to be right. I'm going to go.
Car couldn't do that. Really?
I'm going to go back to an old movie again, Hog. I'm going to go back to an old.
Free.
No. You remember in the aeroplane.
The Bandit.
No, remember in the aeroplane movie, he's walking through the airport and it's got like Rocky 19 or something for the poster.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I think that was in Spaceballs too. Rocky 5000.
What was it in Back to the Future 2 when he goes into the future and it's like Jaws 10 or something?
Yeah, Jaws 9.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna have. But no, apparently they're going into pre-production on Fast 11.
Wow. Franchise has had that many, or has had? I mean, I can only think of the original Planet of the Apes films. What was that? 5 in total? Yeah.
In 2 television series.
2. So there's 5. So that was pretty good going, wasn't it? Plus all the stuff. But Star Wars.
What
Star
about
Wars, Marvel, Disney.
Final Destination? How many Final Destinations were there?
I don't know.
5, 6.
Yeah.
Saw
is no one in it. You're like Saw 10.
Saw 10's due out.
Yeah. Okay.
Sharknado.
I was thinking Sharknado. Yeah, but see, it's a very specific audience. Like Sharknado, they love the ridiculousness of it.
Yeah.
That is why they go to see it.
Friday
And
13th.
Yeah, there you go.
How many of them are there?
God knows how many. Nightmare on Elm Street.
Don't forget James Bond.
Bond, yeah.
Oh, James Bond.
Yeah, that must be the ultimate, mustn't it?
Yeah.
How many of those are there?
Too many.
5, was it?
At least 25.
Yeah.
They made him cry in the 25th one, I think. So did we all.
Yeah, here we go.
They made Bond cry.
So out of all the trailers we've discussed, which is the one you're most excited about?
Good question. Who wants to kick that one off?
I think excited might be the wrong word.
Yeah.
But if you had to pick one and run with
I'm
it,
the grumpy one.
but if you had to pick one and run with it,
I got to pull them all up and look at them again. Let's see what we got here.
I'll tell you what. I've got to say, I'm looking forward to the Flash one the most, followed by Guardians, and I'm a Marvel fan. I'm not a DC fan, but it's because of Keaton. And because of the nostalgia bait of Keaton and all the other little cameos they're saying, a bit like the last Spider-Man film, which you all enjoyed because it just affects the area of our brain, doesn't it? But for me, yeah, it's going to be the Flash and Guardians. I'll compare Guardians first couple of days it's released, not the first midnight screening like they used to do. I'm not.
Do they even do that anymore?
No,
don't bother anymore.
I'm not that excited, but Guardians I'll be sick. But the Flash, I've got to say, out of all of that lot, Equaliser 3 though, I think I'm going to enjoy the most.
Yeah.
But that'll be a film that I go to the cinema to see. But you kind of, how can I explain it? I think it's the inner geek.
It's a safe bet.
I can't wait to, well, as a comic book collector, I can't wait to moan at it. Pick it apart. That didn't happen like you with the graphic novels when you go and see it, Liz. I think who else has got, is there any excitement?
I'm most intrigued by Flash, but I'm probably most excited for Equaliser.
Right. Cool, that makes sense. So no Guardians doesn't factor in for you, Liz?
It's up there, but I'm more intrigued by Flash.
Yeah.
I think I'm in. Go ahead.
No, Amber, go. Amber, go.
I was going to say that I think I'm in the same boat as you, Hog, on everything. But I won't go and see them in theaters. I don't think they were intriguing enough to me to want to go and see them, unless I'm really desperate to have some material to do a review on. But I am excited about Transformers coming home so that my family can just laugh the hell off at it, because it's going to be so beyond ridiculous. I mean, just the fact that the trailer got so many laughs from us, I think says that we're in for a real treat.
So Beast Wars was a big thing.
I've got to ask, what was it about the trailer that made you laugh?
So many things. Oh my gosh. The first view of the girl Transformers' eyes this made me cringe, like implode like some sort of a dying star. Like, oh God, that's awful. The talking animals could not have been more ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, these are the fundamentals which make, and I love some ridiculous shit.
Yeah, but it looks like it's a massive budget film, and they're delivering these lines so seriously, and you know that they're like, it's supposed to be the end of the world, and I'm just gonna crack up at everything. I mean, that robot bird and the robot gorilla, I was dying. And then there was
Beast Wars was something that was quite big when I was a kid. The Transformers that were out when I was a kid was, you know, you had Prime and he was the gorilla and all that sort of stuff. But even for me, growing up with that era of Transformers, that trailer didn't do it for me at all.
But hiding robots in disguising yourself as a car or a truck, it works.
Yeah, it's cool.
Disguising yourself as a bird.
This is where marketing gets involved.
Or a gorilla.
Well, you got to remember,
like a robot.
we had the Dinobots first. That was the
Wow,
first. That was the
say
first
we-
animals that come out of the Transformers world. Was the
So
Dino?
go on, Tayters. You like this trailer and you're looking forward to the film, aren't you?
I am actually looking forward to the film.
Do you ever see?
I want to see. I mainly because I want to see what they're doing with Unicron. So
my son defends that animal transformer thing. So he watched the series when it was on, and he says that reason that there's animals is the planet that they originally landed on didn't have humans and they didn't have machines, so they had to copy what was there. And I'm like, okay,
well, that's all right. No,
yeah.
yeah.
I still don't want to see it, but
Still
it
looks
doesn't seem as
ridiculous.
stupid now.
I was never a Transformers fan ever. So
like I say, I'm not
Tayters,
excited.
did you say what they...
It isn't like, oh, this is going to make or break Transformers for me. I'm just intrigued by what how they're going to go with the Unicron character. Just want to see what they can do with that specifically. So I will.
Unicorn.
have you seen what the director has said as well? What the film's going to be about?
Transformers.
Unicorns.
No.
Unicron.
No. Can't you guess what the director has said this film's going to be about based on the trailer?
Go on.
It's going to be about the Black and Latina experience.
Yes.
And what about the planet munching robot?
We've got robots in disguise. It's all kicking off. But no.
I mean, that's as diverse as you can get.
To the cinema to see what it's like to be a Black or Latino person in America in 1994 who drives a Porsche.
I think we're going to see some major headbutting happening, but from the same crowd of people. Like, you know, we want the diversity on screen, but at the same time, we don't want stereotypes. So how do you portray diversity in robots without relying on some stereotypes?
So you're talking about stereotypes. Sorry, you're talking about stereotypes. Go back and watch that. Go back and watch that trailer again. That black teenager technically steals that Porsche. Oh
my god. No, the whole thing is going to be a disaster. I think marketing, it's going to just be a disaster, but I think it's going to be fun to watch and just laugh at.
Yes, and mock it. But
didn't it look like an animated movie to you guys when you watched that trailer?
Yeah,
it looked like it was just an animated movie, and it shouldn't look like that.
Mentioned earlier, actually, when we was talking about it, was the fact that we mentioned Sheila Booth. No one mentioned what's her name in the first two.
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox.
I forgot. I've forgotten her name.
Yeah, I barely noticed her in it.
It didn't matter to me whether she was in them films or not.
No, I barely noticed her.
And then Mark Wahlberg. What this latest film is missing?
A star.
Yeah, a name. I think these films, and I think I've said this, I must bore you, shut up, with some of my little mantras, but certain films, you need to, and I always use Judge Dredd as an example, where that Judge Dredd movie worked because it weren't about Judge Dredd, it was the psychop with him, and it was the story and all the characters around him, because that Judge Dredd is such a two-dimensional character. So with the Transformers, robots in disguise, there's only so much you can do. But the humans in the middle, like we was talking earlier about, we remember the mum and the dad. Sheila Booth's mum and dad. We might remember their name.
And the military and the soldiers in the first three films.
But don't you get it? Optimus Prime is the main character.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but the story
wasn't supposed to be, but is now.
Yeah. But the story needs, and I think what's lacking from the trailer, I think this film, just a prediction, the film will be lacking the heart it needs. I know they're kind of trying to show us the young guy we've never seen or heard of before, and his mum. And I think he looks Hispanic, she looks black. There's a girl robot, there's a black dude talking robot, you know, he's right hip and down and cool with it, man, and he's talking like this in it, fam. And it looks, the ridiculousness is you can't do it.
Yeah,
you can't do it. There's no need. They're losing it all. They're losing touch of reality so completely. But the first 3 or 4 films had the star attraction that distracted you from the ridiculousness.
Yeah,
makes sense. Because when you're not focused on that star attraction or Megan Fox mending the motor in the
or straddling the motorbike.
oh yeah, and that bit.
Mm.
I've lost my train of thought.
Can you remember specific plot points? But you remember that.
She was trying to fix a car and she was
Oh,
straddling
yeah.
a motorbike.
There's points.
It's a vivid memory.
And when she was straddling the motorbike, you had a little transformer that was trying to get her.
Trying to hump her leg, yeah.
Yeah.
Jeans. I think sales of that went up when that first transformer come out. Anyway, what was we talking
Fond memories.
Oh, anyway.
You were saying that the first 4 had the heart, and then they lost it after.
No attraction, but the heart. And I know they're kind of alluding to it in this film.
Yeah.
But I can't help feeling that it's going to be lost within the bluster of the, you know, like they're all doing these days. They're losing sight of what makes it work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what was the crazy guy as well?
The crazy doctor bloke.
No, what's his name? I'm going to say Totoro, but I don't mean the manga.
John Totoro.
Yes.
Yeah.
His character in the first films.
Yeah, quality.
Yeah, you know, little weird characters. You had the heart, you had the family in it, you know, mum and dad. It all made it work.
Even the dog.
And Shia LaBeouf, he's not exactly like a hunk, is he? But yeah, you know, he's got a chance with Megan Fox. So we're all there. We're all there. It's lost now because they can't do it. It would be called, oh my God, heterosexual. Oh my, we can't have a heterosexual relationship. No.
Anyway, we were getting back to what people are excited about, but yeah, there we go. No, so Transformers, I do want to go and see. Intrigue, like you, Equaliser. That looks that's probably about the most exciting film out of that lot, and then probably Guardians, followed closely by Flash.
I can't believe I'm the one shouting for the Flash. To be fair, surprising, but okay.
I'm intrigued by it. What
about you, Governor?
I'm looking forward to Guardians, and that's it.
Really? None of the others?
Yeah.
Guardians and popcorn.
What about so you're not thinking Equaliser 3?
And I'm not sure that the popcorn doesn't rank higher than my expectations for Guardians.
We're going to get a full review about Randy's bucket of popcorn.
Yeah. What about not Equaliser 3?
I haven't seen a trailer for that one yet, so I don't know.
What about the first 2? Have you not seen the first 2 films?
I think I saw the first one. It was okay. It's not really my kind of film.
No. What about the? Hey, does anyone remember the TV show with Iwa Wuwa?
Yeah.
I remember it existing. Didn't bother to see it though.
I remember it being very cool at the time. Very cool. I think though, if I watched it back, it would be cheese on top.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
When did that come out? When did that come out? I don't remember that.
Before you were hatched.
Okay, fair enough.
I would say, come on, let's guess it, Tayters. Let's see if we can nail it.
It's got to be mid-80s.
Yeah. I would say like an 87, 88.
Let's have a quick Google.
87/88. Edward Woodward, and it was the guy from the Police who did the theme tune, wasn't it?
Sting?
No, the other one, the ones who we don't know their names. He did.
We don't know the name. What's the point of trying to guess?
No, because he did soundtracks for a couple of other things, didn't he? Is it like Rumblefish? The film, they done it, released it in black and white. Rumblefish, he done the soundtrack for.
Did you make that up?
The Equaliser, Edward Woodward, 85 to 89.
Yay! Yeah, so I'll give you that then. You said
Thank you.
I said 88, but that would have been series 3. Yeah. Well, but none of us watching the latest series then, because no.
The latest series?
Latest series of what?
Equaliser.
There's
They've
one
made another series.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, guess what? With a black woman.
Maybe that's why we haven't heard of it.
But apparently it hasn't gone down bad.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I think it's got 2 series. Why, you got your phone out, Taters?
I'm looking.
Didn't even know there was one.
But I didn't bother because like it's just ridiculous. All that.
It's like it came up on my Prime earlier. They've done a TV series of Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, can you watch that?
No,
I tried that, but he wasn't mad. The Riggs character, he wasn't Murtaugh. Riggs weren't mad.
I guarantee they'll be doing a Die Hard series next. They've tried it with a lot of the older stuff. There'll be a Die Hard series coming out.
Yeah,
there'll be something.
Yeah, but they got a couple of series, didn't they? Like Magnum PI, they tried to resurrect.
Yeah, they tried a Rush Hour series as well.
Did they?
Yeah.
I do have a couple of movies coming out later that I'm interested in seeing.
Go on.
And that's Mission Impossible because they've been pretty consistent with that series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
I mean, they stay pretty true to the material there. And then Expendables 4. Expendables 3 was...
Do you know what? Those Expendables movies, fair play. You know what it is going in? Fair play to them on that. I've enjoyed them.
It's the Fast and Furious sort of thing, isn't it? You're going in with extreme violence and crazy action, and and just quick backtrack. So the Equaliser was Queen Latifah, and it was 2021, and apparently 3 seasons.
Wow. See,
I don't know
how that works out though.
Oh, and I do have one that I'm really excited about seeing, and that's the part 2 for Dune.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Vanity Fair just released all their set photo, their like official photos for it.
Apparently, they released a trailer at CinemaCon.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I just know that the first one was so good. I really want to see the second one.
What do we think the highest grossing of the year is going to be?
Mario.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. I called it. Come on.
You did.
Called it.
Well done there.
Please all applaud.
Well, I have seen Mario Brothers, so I can definitely comment on that.
Oh, come on, come on, Randy.
Okay, so I know a lot of people are like, "Oh gosh, Mario Brothers is going to make money." Well, you know what? They have been true to their market. So, of the 3 or 4 Mario Brother movies that have come out, this felt the most like the Mario Brothers, and I would liken this to Legos. The Lego movie, which was fantastic and made a ton of money. And so it's targeted for a younger audience. But if you're someone who's played Mario Brothers through the years, you're going to see all these cameos and these references. And it's so much fun to see those things come through. Hear the music. My son was listening and he was like, "Oh, that's from this. This is from this game. And this one's from this game." And I don't know the music, but I would recognize a lot of the game features that show up in there. And it's a simple story, okay? And there's nothing wrong with a simple story, but it's true to the game, and it was fun, and the characters were likable. So yeah, that's going to make money.
Amber liked the music, didn't you?
I did. You saw my review. That honestly, to me, that was like a level up. Like that was superior movie making soundtrack right there. Was that soundtrack? Everything else actually visually, it was very beautiful too. It was very nice visually. I thought that the CGI was so well done. But again, like Randy is saying, this is a little kids movie. My 10-year-old nephew, it was like almost too young for him. If he didn't know anything about the games and wasn't wild about the games, I mean, he wasn't thrilled to go and see it. He was like, "Yeah, we'll go and see it." And then we get there and he was like entertained, but it wasn't something that was like, "Oh my gosh, this is going to be my favorite movie ever." It's a little kids movie. But if you've liked the games, you'll enjoy it. It won't be like something you want to kill yourself over.
So how does it compare to something like, say, because I still haven't seen it yet.
Did you not manage to borrow anybody's children, no?
No, I'm determined to see it without being suspect.
It's got like, a nice hack.
I've been applying for jobs at cinemas to like clean the carpets. But how does it compare to Toy Story?
No, it's way below that as far as storytelling goes and emotional resonance. This is a little kids movie, not an early Pixar movie where it's made for kids to be able to take in and enjoy, but adults also can really love it. I mean, as an adult, you'll get there and you'll be like, I got nothing out of that except that it had fun sound effects and I liked that it was just like how it's in the game, but there's nothing else there for you.
No adult humor that's sort of hidden.
No.
I don't see how that film, Amber, is earning that amount of money.
Nostalgia, love of the
children. No, I don't see how.
Well, how about the fact that we have so much garbage out there, right?
Yeah.
And this one is very.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah.
It's very pure for what it is. Okay.
Yes.
So it's a kids movie. And I don't know, maybe 20 years ago, it wouldn't have made as much money because we had plenty of movies like that were well done and they were good for what they were. But right now, wow. I mean, that was so refreshing to be able to go and see something that wasn't polluted with messaging. That was just, they knew
There's
their
a lot
audience.
of that to it. There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
Not polluted.
Yeah.
That's a good word, actually, Randy. Polluted.
Yeah.
Plus, you got the fact of they're not selling one ticket.
Yeah.
Selling 3 or 4 or 5. You know, you got a family going. You got mum, dad, 3
Right.
kids.
So
2
that
kids.
kind of money.
Yeah.
It's repeat viewing. That means kids saying, I want to go and see it again. Like I know it was during the Easter they released it, but that's all part of it. I mean, you can't take it away from these people.
And something hasn't been taken into account as well. That's a perfect film. We've said it for ages now that a lot of films, where's the merchandising gone?
Yeah.
This is the perfect opportunity to get that merchandising out.
I reckon people are going back to the games now.
Yeah.
You know, like the parents that have been taking the kids, they're saying, well, was it a game? And the parents are saying, yeah. And they, this thing with Illumination and Nintendo, you mark my words, you look at Nintendo's back catalogue of games, not just this and Zelda.
Oh, Zelda.
And Donkey Kong. Right, they're the 3. I've never been a gamer apart from when Atari first came out, and then I'll have to go and get a job.
I want to do a live action of GoldenEye.
What?
I want Nintendo to do a live action of GoldenEye.
What do I know about? What was that? Goldfish game?
There's a big Nintendo game, GoldenEye. It was based off 007.
They did that.
And it was one of the biggest Nintendo games they did.
Yeah, they did. That was based. That the game was based from the movie that they made.
You want them to do a movie on the game that's based on a movie?
I mean, I think they've done the GoldenEye film.
Yeah, they did GoldenEye.
He's a stupid alien, isn't he? I don't know why I'm on. I'm just wasting my time. This alien.
That was your favourite Bond and all, wasn't it? Hog?
It is.
GoldenEye.
That's my favourite Bond.
It's your favourite Bond.
My favourite too.
But I think that you might, as Disney is waning with the classic family fare, it's a shame that they also sucked up Pixar.
Yeah.
He was doing some beautiful films. One of my favourite of all time animated films is Up.
Yeah.
And for Pixar to, you know, what you're saying, Amber, about where Mario is so squarely an immature children's film. If that's, I know that's an oxymoron, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
When I used to take my kids to watch these Pixar stuff like Toy Story and that, and not just,
you would cry.
I would be, yeah, they would be all right. They would be all right. Let's be go.
No, but you know who did pick up the baton?
I'm still like that. They'll be all right. I'm melting down, and they'll be all right. But when they entertained on 2 different levels, the kids, it's the Simpsons effect.
Yeah.
You know, there's jokes in the Simpsons that parents are laughing. You're laughing at Smithers being gay, and the kids ain't getting it, but you are, and you know, etc., etc. But now I think that's what you're saying with Mario, is it?
And I think
one level.
Yeah, I think that Mario is below Pixar. Well, I don't think it is. It's below Pixar as far as storytelling goes. But I think that DreamWorks potentially has picked up the baton of Pixar. How to Train Your Dragon. I know it's been a few years since the third one came out, but that was superior storytelling.
Yeah.
They managed to do it with all three films. Yes, the first was definitely the best, but dang, the second and third one were really good too. And the animation was stunning. It was really, really good.
So actually, when I watched, I just thought, I'll watch this, the first one. And this is only recently. It's only like, I don't know, a couple of 2 or 3 during lockdown.
Yeah.
That's when I caught on, because when you was literally so hungry, you were scrolling everything.
You're like, oh, I'll watch this kid's dragon movie, and then you're like, what is this? Why haven't I been watching this? Yeah, it was good. I actually consider How to Train Your Dragon, like, especially because they managed to do it across 3 films. That's better than Pixar has done.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like it was in many ways above Pixar, and I think that. I'm hopeful that whatever they've got in store coming out next is where all of their creative team behind How to Train Your Dragon went to.
Yeah. No.
So I think we've turned a corner here. I mean, so obviously on the internet, we really kind of live by the bad review. But I feel that with Top Gun Maverick last year and then with Mario Brothers this year, we are seeing quality films make money. Disney's laid off like 7,000 people this week. They can't go on. So the economics are going to drive people to have to go back to story. I mean, I think we're at that point, right? I mean, we've got these movies making billions of dollars now because they're good quality and they leave out all the garbage. I think we're going to start seeing a lot more people move that direction because they can't afford to continue the route that they're going.
No. And I think also Disney have got to sell something off. I can't see how they're going to save all that money with what they're coming out. And I'm that's just with my business head on. Forget films I like and anything else. They said they want to save $5.5 billion. Well, that's fine. Okay, that's what any corporation in a bit of trouble needs to do. But the stuff that they've already spent money on is still going to lose money. That Peter Pan and Wendy is going to lose money. Little Mermaid is going to lose money. This Lilo and Stitch is already in trouble, but they're trying to do that. They're almost, I feel sorry for them with Lilo and Stitch because they're trying to do that right.
And the difficulty is though, across all
get Hawaiian people to play. They're in trouble for getting Hawaiian people to play Hawaiian people in the Lilo and Stitch live action. It's like,
was it Lilo and Stitch or Moana that they're remaking? I thought it was Moana.
And Moana, yeah, with
and Moana. So it's Lilo and Stitch and Moana. So they're going to do 2 Hawaii live action adaptations. That's a great idea. But maybe they'll combine them.
That'd be good crossover, yeah. Lilo
but
the thing
is, across all their platforms, so the Disney own, Marvel and Star Wars, they've lost money, but they're not learning from their mistakes. Okay, they've slowed down production, but then they're doubling it down on their ideas, and they're still going to be producing shit.
They're doubling down. It's a bit I don't get.
You have to be able to read your audience, read your market, and go, "This ain't working. Right, what are we going to do?"
I mean,
there's no change in anything they're doing.
But what we're getting now with Lilo and Stitch, Moana, all these things are these things that were started prior to this announcement of we've got to save 5.5 billion. Were these already through pre-production and into?
But at any point,
you can pull that.
Being released this year, I mean, all right, this is before Iger's come back.
Yeah,
fair enough, and it's all in the machine, and it's all been spewing out with.
That's what I'm saying. If they've already put the biggest chunk of money into these movies,
but there is no indication at all. For me, at the top, I'd be saying we need to really start turning this oil tank around here, because it does take time for these corporations to shift.
Yeah,
but they just don't seem to. They just don't be. They're not willing to do it. They just can't. At no level at Disney, in any aspect of their business, are they prepared to make the right heads roll. I mean, I know we've seen a lot of that Victoria Alonso go at Marvel and stuff, and there's been a few minor heads roll. But where are the people? And I'm just with my business head on. This is literally just, we're talking brass tacks business. Why are people getting people sat down, like you're hauled up on the carpet and you say, and you go to sit down and the governor says, no, don't sit down. Don't sit down. Why are you losing me money?
Yeah.
And I know there's news coming out about Kathleen Kennedy being hauled in and saying Indiana Jones must earn money. And that's another post $300 million budget. These films.
That's why I don't believe all this. I don't believe half this stuff, because let's think about it logically.
What don't you believe?
So Kathleen Kennedy's being pulled in saying Indiana Jones has got to make money, otherwise you're out. No, you've lost us money on this, and this. You've alienated your fans. You're out. Not, we're going to give you one more chance.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, that's
ridiculous.
Kind of like what I'm saying. Why aren't heads rolling all over the shop? There, and I did do a video on it a few weeks ago saying you can't. The people that work for Dismal, they're taking out on it. But again, it's always the workers that
lose
any of these scenarios take the brunt of it, because no one is changing tack at the top, are they? There's no announcements about, right, we've stopped doing that now, we're going to do this. There's no lesbian kiss. There's no gays bumming each other off. We're going to do family film. We want you to bring your kids to a film where you don't see none of that. Yeah, the astronaut ain't gay, his mate ain't gay, the animals aren't gay, none of them are trans. We're going to have a bit of a diverse voice acting ensemble and deliver it.
You know, that's kind of why I'm convinced part of why Mario is so good is because everybody is, the word has spread. This is a perfectly safe movie to take your kids to, because there's nothing in it that's controversial. It's just for kids. Yeah.
Yeah. And just be the voice actors, just be,
there was controversy about that, though, that it wasn't diverse enough, right?
That's why little things like that, getting back to the Transformers, the Beast Wars thing, why they have to make, and I'm not a racist person, believe it or not, but what annoys me is when you have to make a robot overtly black sounding.
Stereotypically black sounding.
Doesn't that offend black people?
Exactly what I'm saying. It is going to be hilarious watching the backlash that goes in both directions about this film. You're going to have people saying, like, you know, oh, it's great that there's been all of this inclusion, and other people going, no, it's not, because this is stereotypical, you know, prejudice, inclusion.
They're shot by their own side.
Yeah, the snake is going to eat its own tail in this one, and it's going to be a glorious thing to see, I think. But yeah.
So I have kind of wondered about the gorilla being voiced by an obviously black person.
Yeah.
I was thinking, like, oh my gosh, aren't people going to be talking about how racist that is? I am sure that if I made a show and for whatever reason I cast a black person in that role, I would be called a racist for making a black person the gorilla, right?
You know why it's not being called out?
Am I the only one who...
You know why it's not being called out? I think because the director, it's not being called out because I think the guy who's directing it is either black or Latina.
Okay.
That's how you get away with it. If it was a white director, all day long.
Yeah.
All day long.
I still think it.
Go on.
I still think it's insulting in the way that Dylan Mulvaney doing his, like, I'm a girl thing is insulting to women. So I mean, if they're supposed to be so concerned about that, it seems like they're really going the wrong direction. They've kind of become the enemy in my way with these portrayals that they're doing.
But I think it's also sort of like, you know, it's our culture. We're allowed to portray it however we want. You know, like you're not allowed to use the N-word, but in rap you can. And black people can use the N-word. If you're not, you can't use it, no matter what the context. You can't even refer to it as a vocabulary word in a classroom to let people know what you mean when you say the N-word. You can't do that. You can't even say a word that sounds like it, because you'll get fired for that, which happened in California. It was a Chinese word that sounded like the N-word, and he got fired.
Wow.
He was teaching Chinese. And so I think that this is good. If that's what you're saying is true, Hog, that it is a a POC who's directing this movie, then it'll be fine. People won't mention too much of it, which is unfortunate because we won't get to see as much of the headbutting as I thought we were going to.
No, and he's already come out and said this is about a black and Latina person's journey, whatever.
That makes it even more legitimate.
Yeah, whatever crap he's come out with, that legitimizes the whole, and that's why they've done it. It just legitimizes the whole thing, but ultimately makes it, you can see where the focus of the director, it's so boring. It's so mundane. He's not talking about, oh, you wait, we're holding back on one of the beasts that you haven't seen in the trailer yet. And everyone's going, oh my God, fuck me, yeah. He's going, no, you wait till you see the story of a Latina and a black person's journey through my film. You think, oh, I want to see robots smash shit up, man.
I've got to wonder how many people are saying that because they believe it, and how many of them are saying it because they know that if I say this, it will make it so controversial, and then people will go and see it because they know it's controversial. I do think that that's happening.
There's an element of that, but again, I think that is fizzling out because it isn't.
People are getting tired.
No, the controversy isn't working, is it?
No.
Nah.
Like that Netflix show with the Black Cleopatra.
Oh God.
Oh yeah.
That so clearly wasn't in any historical,
that's the problem with that.
You don't have to step far. You don't have to do a lot of research on your mobile device just to go, oh, who was Cleopatra and where was she? Like, oh, right, Elizabeth Taylor. Who's ever seen Elizabeth Taylor? I have. I've got it on DVD. But that was too far. But you've only got to look at some historical fact, and she was like olive-skinned and that neck of the woods.
Greek.
Not black. Yeah, more like that.
She was Greek.
Not black, but
she was Greek.
Yeah.
If you've got BritBox, Amber, if you got BritBox, Channel 5 did do an Anne Boleyn.
Yes, I saw that. I mean, I didn't see it, but I saw the trailer for it, and I said, "What?"
I had to watch it with my own eyes. The first 10 minutes, I had to watch it when it came out, and it was when I first started doing my YouTube videos, and I thought, right, I'm going to be. I decided not to in the end because I'll get far too political with it. So I watched it for the first 10 minutes just to see it. How are they going to accomplish this? And it looked absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Never seen anything as stupid in your life.
That was like that other show that was oh come on, it was the teenage, edgy, sexy version of a Jane Austen show, Bridgerton. That was it. It was in Bridgerton too.
Yeah.
So okay, I have no problem with doing adaptations of especially fiction, right? But if you're trying to portray something as historically accurate, it looks ridiculous. But like Cinderella, Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella, isn't Cinderella a French story, right? It takes place in France. I think it is.
Yeah.
And but how many times have we seen depictions of Cinderella done? And like, okay, we're gonna do an interesting version where it's most of the cast is going to be black, and so we're gonna alter the music even to make it so that we're going to really accentuate the soul voice. I'm okay with that sort of thing. I think it's kind of interesting and fun, but it's not done because we have to have people of color in these roles. It's done because, this will give it a different flavor and it'll be interesting. And it is. There was, what was it? Do you remember The Wiz?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You can do this. You can do it. And depending on what your reason for doing it is going to affect your product at the end. And I think that that's what we're seeing now. The Little Mermaid could be perfectly fine and acceptable as it is, even, because it's a fantasy. I'm like, okay, I don't care. But that's not why they're doing this. They're doing it to be controversial. They're doing it to be in your face about something. And that comes across in what we see. And it's really unfortunate because I would be fine.
It goes beyond because it goes beyond that as well, because in The Little Mermaid, the guy she falls in love with can't even save her at the end. They can't have the man. So that's where
I loved that.
That's where
I loved the dynamic that they did. And I know it's not accurate to The Little Mermaid, the novel. If the Sanskrit is not Sanskrit, it's the other one. The novel of The Little Mermaid, she dies. it's tragedy. He goes off and marries some other person and she's dead.
Oh, wow. That's dark.
Yeah. I know. It's really sad. But I liked what Disney did. I thought it was fun. I thought the original animation was great because you have Ariel fights the Sea Witch and Eric fights the Sea Witch. It was a team effort. It showed you that they work together great. You know, they're not just teenagers infatuated with each other. They can accomplish interesting things.
Talking about the novels, a lot of the Disney stuff was based off dark novels.
Yeah, very dark stuff.
A lot of the novels were very, very dark originally. Snow White and Seven Dwarfs was very dark originally.
But yeah, it's like when Shakespeare plays are adapted and, you know, they take place in the future or something, you know, there's nothing wrong with doing this, telling it in a new way. But when you make your reason for doing something being political, and I'm going to teach you to accept this, it does something to the quality of that production. It does something to how it affects the audience in a bad way.
It takes away the focus from the story. There's no focus on the actual story. Give us a good story. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I can't wait to see that Snow White adaptation either.
Oh yeah, they're doing Snow White, aren't they?
Yeah, a couple of years with an Hispanic. Which just takes away from the whole point of the snow. You know, the name's in the title.
I'm gonna say, yeah.
That's a little weird with the title.
When they announced it.
At the same time, though, I probably wouldn't have as much a problem with this if it wasn't clearly a political or social justice statement. You know, if they're just like, we're gonna tell this story in Spain, you know, or something.
I have a question for Amber. Okay, so I like what you're talking about, and you're right. You can take a story and you can put it into a different setting, and it's interesting to see that variable. So let's take an example of that. Let's talk about Macbeth, okay? And we have Macbeth with an all-black cast. Now, is it better to have an all-black cast doing Macbeth in the day and age of Macbeth, or would it be better to set it in Harlem?
They'd be two different things. You couldn't say that it's one's better than the other.
No, I think I could say that one would be better than the other. In fact, I just did. One's better than the other.
I mean, it depends on how it's depicted, you know, how is it done?
But don't just do a straight up adaptation of Macbeth.
Yeah. Like The Lion King is Macbeth.
That's a story trope that you would just use the Macbeth. It's like the Romeo and Juliet storyline. How many times, if you've watched Grease, then you know these tropes. You know these. I mean, how many stories since Romeo and Juliet were made? I know Grease isn't a very good example, actually. West Side Story. What was the Shakespeare play that was based on? Is it Romeo and Juliet?
Which one?
I think it is Romeo and Juliet.
West Side Story is Romeo and Juliet. Yeah.
So, but that's all Hispanics.
Yeah.
But when Spielberg had to do his modern one, he had to make it even more stupid, didn't he? He had to do that modern, silly, virtue signaling, latest Hollywood. This is the only way I can sell my film crap. But like what Randy's saying is, you know, this Black Macbeth in the Bronx. Well, West Side Story was very well accomplished but they didn't call it. They didn't just get a bunch of Latinas, which is what they would do now. They would call it Romeo and Juliet, bunch of Latina characters, and say, have some of that. And people go,
right,
I don't want it.
I think it's better to take that story and put it into that new setting. And obviously I'm talking about adapting it, right? I mean, it's all about adapting it to that culture or that's, right. And I think that's great. We can see the same principles, and then the film feels natural because it's in the natural environment for those people. So we're seeing the original story concept in that environment.
Yeah.
And I think that makes it a much better.
But you can't just have three witches, you know, one is black, one is Indian, and one is Chinese, going, oh my God, oh no, one's trans, all round going hoil, boil, toil and trouble, because, oh my God, now it's so modern and it represents us as a modern, but that's what they're doing. They can't just adapt anything.
Right, and that's right. I agree with you totally. I mean, and I just think that if we want to do that, let's put the story in the natural setting for those people, and let's enjoy that story.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the Marvel stuff. I mean, when you read the old Marvel comics, like Stan Lee, obviously read the classics. You know, when you read Thor, like the early Thor and Hulk and all that, and these characters, when you watch it, you can see the essence of it all there. But he didn't bother with. Well, in fact, he did bother with a lot of things that were going on in the day. Old Stan Lee, it was all there, and I know we've all spoken about the way that good writers would use sci-fi and fantasy to talk about what was going on around them, whether it was about racism, whether it was about, you know, whatever was going on in the world. But now they just can't do it. They just have to, and it is all virtue signaling. It's, look how nice a person I am because I'm doing this about this. No, just tell your story and we get it. Get it. But I don't know if people do anymore, whether they are that thick. Are they? They must be.
I think it also, at least as far as adaptations go, it has a lot to do with the respect for the material too. You don't alter the material to fit your agenda, right? Is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to do Macbeth, changing the story makes it not Macbeth anymore.
Yeah. I mean, what was the old? I'm thinking of the Clint Eastwood westerns now. The first ones, Fistful of Dollars for a Few Dollars More, and they're all based on those classic these story tropes.
Yeah.
From classic stories of, you know, years ago. But they was just made good films, but they didn't have to bother about anything. But I think what it boils down to is creative bankruptcy. That's 100% for me. It boils down to creative bankruptcy. If that director of that modern Transformers film has to tell me this is a story about and I'm paraphrasing, by the way, I haven't written down quotes from him, this is just what I've read. If I don't get the fact that the heart of his story is about a black family's struggles, about that, but maybe set that in the 60s or set it nowadays, but it's got to be within this whole madness, hasn't it? So my first question would be, why are you putting this into a Transformers film?
Yeah.
Because people aren't going to see a Transformers film for that. But if you are black and you do want to tell a personal story, you can put that in there. If it's because I've noticed it's the kid and his mum in this Transformers film. So all right, if that's a personal story to you, mate, and you want to put it in this Transformers film, that should come so naturally. And it should just be there. And we have spoken about the family element of the first Transformers film within all the madness, the robot in the back garden, and you know, he's brought old Megan Fox home, and he's trying to hide her. And that stuff was naturally, and that could have all been mixed race people, and it could have been any race, couldn't it? But they just can't do it now. They just can't do it because they're too thick.
And there's a lack of understanding what subtlety is.
Yes. No,
that's really so sad.
Subtlety. Perhaps they should have that word written on the front door as they go in.
Get it tattooed on your hands so that as you're writing, wait, subtlety.
Or perhaps it's written above the door on the way in, but it's in Latin and they can't understand it. Anyway, guys, I think that about wraps it up. Unless anyone's got anything else to add.
No,
I'm good.
It's trailer-tastic rant.
Trailers.
The trailer special. Well, on that note, then, guys, thank you as always for joining.
Pleasure.
Well, and until next time, adios.
See you all soon.
Adios.
Take care.